The body of an Italian soldier lies face down in the sand. He has been dead for about 3 weeks now. The desert has done its work. The skin is pulled tight across the skull. The lips are gone. The teeth are bared in a grin that has nothing to do with humor. His hands are still reaching forward, fingers curled into claws, as if in the last second of his life he was still trying to crawl toward something, toward water, toward home, toward nothing. A German staff car drives past him. The officers inside do not look. They have seen 1,000 like him already. They will see 10,000 more before this is over. The car speeds east along the Via Balbia, the thin ribbon of asphalt that hugs the Mediterranean coast. To the left, the sea is impossibly blue, calm, indifferent. To the right, the desert begins. It does not begin gradually. There is no gentle transition. One moment there is a strip of green, a few palm trees, a white house. The next moment there is nothing, just sand and rock and heat shimmer and the bones of men who thought they could conquer it. Inside the car, a young lieutenant is reading a letter. His name is Klaus. He is 22 years old. He came to Africa because his older brother died in France, and someone had to carry the family name. He has been here for 6 days. He has already learned that the flies never stop. They crawl into your mouth while you sleep. They lay eggs in the corners of your eyes. You wake up and wipe the maggots from your eyelids, and you do not scream, because screaming wastes water, and water is more precious than your mother's tears. The letter is from his mother. She writes that the neighbors have planted potatoes in the garden. She writes that his younger sister has learned to play a new song on the piano. She writes that she prays for him every night, and she knows God will protect him, because he is a good boy, doing God's work. Klaus folds the letter carefully and puts it in his pocket. He does not laugh. He does not cry. He just looks out the window at the dead Italian and wonders if his mother would still pray to her God if she could see what that God allows to happen to men in this place. The car stops. They have arrived at a small airfield. It is not really an airfield. It is just a stretch of flat ground where the rocks have been cleared away. A single Storch airplane sits in the shade of a canvas tarp. The propeller is turning. The engine is coughing and sputtering, running on fuel that was smuggled past British submarines at the cost of 3 cargo ships and 400 sailors, who now float face down somewhere between Sicily and the African coast. Klaus gets out. He does not know why he is here. He was told only to report to this coordinate at this time. He stands in the heat and waits. The sun is a hammer. The air shimmers. The flies find him immediately. They land on his lips. He does not brush them away. He has learned already that it is useless. A figure emerges from behind the airplane. The figure is short. He wears no hat. His face is burned dark by the sun. His uniform is covered in dust. He looks like a mechanic. He looks like a laborer. He looks like nothing. But Klaus snaps to attention immediately, because he recognizes the eyes. The eyes are not the eyes of a mechanic. They are the eyes of a man who has not slept in days, and does not intend to sleep until he has reached the Nile. They are the eyes of a man who looks at a map and does not see sand. He sees highways. He sees opportunities. He sees the future. Erwin Rommel walks past Klaus without acknowledging him. He walks to the car and puts his hand on the hot metal of the hood. He holds it there. He does not flinch. He seems to enjoy the pain. He looks east toward the horizon, toward the British lines. toward Egypt, toward the Suez Canal. He speaks without turning around. "You know what the British are doing right now, Lieutenant?" Klaus does not know if he is supposed to answer. He opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. Rommel turns. He looks at Klaus the way a butcher looks at a piece of meat. He is not being cruel. He is simply calculating. How much use is this one? How long will he last? Will he break or will he burn? "They are playing golf," Rommel says. "In Cairo. They are drinking gin and playing golf. They have been playing golf since December. They think the war in Africa is over. They think we are finished. They think Mussolini's army was the only thing standing between them and a quiet summer of polo matches and whiskey sodas." Rommel walks closer. He is standing right in front of Klaus now. Klaus can smell him. Sweat. Engine oil. Something else. Cordite. Fear. The smell of a man who has been too close to too many explosions. "I am going to teach them a lesson," Rommel says. "I am going to teach them that the war is never over. I am going to teach them that desert is not a playground. It is a killing ground. And I am going to teach them with 20 tanks and a division of Italian infantry that runs away when someone sneezes." He pauses. He looks at Klaus again. This time there is something almost like pity in his eyes. "You are going to die here, Lieutenant. Did you know that? Most of you will die here. The ones who do not die will wish they had. The heat will take your mind. The thirst will take your soul. The British will take your freedom. And for what? For a piece of asphalt. For a port that leaks oil. For a canal that belongs to someone else." Rommel turns away. He walks back toward the airplane. "But first," he says over his shoulder, "we are going to win. We are going to win so hard that they will write books about us. We are going to win so hard that the name Rommel will be spoken in every military academy for 100 years. And then we are going to die. But that is later. Today, we win." He climbs into the airplane. The engine roars. The prop wash blasts Klaus with sand. He closes his eyes. When he opens them, the plane is in the air, heading east, toward the enemy, toward the sun, toward the victory that Rommel has already promised, and the death that Rommel has already guaranteed. Klaus stands there for a long time after the plane disappears. The flies find his lips again. He does not brush them away. He is thinking about his mother's potatoes. He is thinking about his sister's piano. He is thinking about the dead Italian, with his hands reaching for something that was never there. He gets back in the car. The driver looks at him. The driver is an old man, a veteran of the last war. He has seen this before. He has seen young men meet Rommel and come back with something broken inside them. He says nothing. He just starts the engine and drives back toward the coast, back toward the army that is preparing to do the impossible. They drive past the dead Italian again. Klaus looks at him this time. He looks at the hands, the reaching hands. He wonders what the Italian was reaching for. He wonders if the Italian had a mother who planted potatoes. He wonders if the Italian's sister played piano. He wonders if the Italian knew, in that last second, that it was all for nothing. The car speeds on. The desert swallows the road behind them. The flies follow for a while, then give up and return to the Italian. He has more to offer them than the living do. In Berlin, the High Command is meeting. The room is cool. The windows are closed against the spring air. The maps on the walls are clean, crisp, marked with neat lines and colored pins. The generals sit in leather chairs. They drink coffee from china cups. They discuss the situation in Africa. It is a brief discussion. Africa is not important. Africa is a sideshow. The real war is in the East. The real war is Russia. In a few weeks, 3 million German soldiers will cross the border and smash the Soviet Union in a campaign that will last 3 months. After that, the war will be over. After that, the British will have no choice but to surrender. After that, the Americans will never dare to intervene. Africa is a distraction, a nuisance, a favor to an ally who cannot fight his own battles. The generals agree that Rommel must be restrained. He is too aggressive. He is too ambitious. He will overextend. He will get himself cut off. He will demand supplies that cannot be delivered. He will cause problems. They send a message. It is polite. It is firm. It is clear. The message says, hold your position. Do not advance. Do not provoke the British. Do not risk the limited assets we have given you. Wait for instructions. Wait for reinforcements. Wait. The message is typed on clean paper. It is placed in a leather pouch. It is carried by a series of couriers to an airfield, where it is loaded onto a plane. The plane flies south, over the Alps, over the Mediterranean, over the coast of Africa. It lands at Tripoli. The message is transferred to a car. The car drives east along the Via Balbia, past the palm trees, past the white houses, past the bones of the dead. It takes 3 days for the message to reach Rommel. Rommel reads it. He folds it carefully. He puts it in his pocket. He does not reply. He is already 200 miles east of where he is supposed to be. He is already attacking. He has already committed his tiny force to a battle it cannot win, and a victory it cannot afford. The message sits in his pocket for 3 weeks. By the time he takes it out again, the British are in full retreat. By the time he takes it out again, he has captured enough supplies to keep his army moving for another month. By the time he takes it out again, the name Rommel is on the front page of every newspaper in the world. He reads the message one more time. Hold your position. Do not advance. He laughs. He tears the paper into small pieces. He lets the pieces fall into the sand. The wind takes them. They scatter. They disappear. The desert does not care about orders from Berlin. The desert does not care about strategy or politics, or the opinions of generals in leather chairs. The desert cares about one thing only: who is strong enough to survive. Rommel is strong. For now. The port of Tripoli is burning, not from bombs, from work. The docks are lit by floodlights. Men work through the night, unloading ships that have run the British gauntlet. They work until they collapse. Then they are dragged aside and replaced by fresh men who work until they collapse. The ships bring tanks. They bring ammunition. They bring food and water and medicine and fuel. But they do not bring enough. They never bring enough. For every ton that reaches the docks, 2 tons are at the bottom of the sea. British submarines hunt in packs. British aircraft strike from Malta. The Mediterranean is a killing zone. The water is thick with oil and blood and the floating wreckage of German and Italian dreams. A young officer stands on the dock. He is not a combat officer. He is a logistics officer. His name is Heinrich. He is 30 years old. He has a degree in economics from the University of Hamburg. He thought he would spend the war pushing paper in some comfortable office in France. Instead, he is here, in this hell, trying to calculate how many trucks it will take to move a ton of gasoline 600 miles through soft sand while being attacked from the air. Heinrich has done the math. He has done it 100 times. The math does not lie. The math says that for every gallon of fuel that reaches the front, 4 gallons are burned, getting it there. The math says that the trucks themselves consume the very supplies they are carrying. The math says that Rommel's army is a snake eating its own tail. Heinrich has tried to explain this. He has written reports. He has drawn charts. He has sent them up the chain of command. The reports come back with notes in the margins. The notes say, "Noted." The notes say, "Acknowledged." The notes say, "Continue operations." No one cares about the math. No one wants to hear that the victory is an illusion. No one wants to hear that the army is already dead. It just does not know it yet. Heinrich watches the men unloading the ship. He watches them stagger under the weight of crates. He watches them fall. He watches them get up and fall again. He thinks about the math. He thinks about the 4 gallons burned for every one delivered. He thinks about the trucks that will break down, the drivers who will die, the fuel that will be stolen, the supplies that will be misplaced, the orders that will be misunderstood, the mistakes that will be made, the chaos that will consume everything. He lights a cigarette. He watches the smoke rise into the night sky. He knows that somewhere out there, in the darkness, a British submarine is watching too. The submarine is waiting for the next ship. The submarine will sink it. The submarine will send another 1,000 tons of supplies to the bottom. And then another ship will come, and another, and the submarine will sink them too. And the men on the dock will keep working until they die. And Rommel will keep advancing until he cannot. And the desert will keep swallowing the bones of everyone who thought they could cross it and live. Heinrich finishes his cigarette. He drops the butt on the dock. He grinds it out with his heel. He walks back to his office to do the math again. The math never changes. February 1941. March 1941. April 1941. The weeks pass. The army advances. The British fall back. Rommel pushes harder. The supply lines stretch longer. The trucks burn more fuel. The ships sink faster. The math gets worse. But the army keeps moving. The men keep fighting. The victories keep coming. Tobruk is surrounded. The Suez Canal is within reach. Cairo is panicking. The British are burning their own documents. The British are packing their bags. The British are preparing to evacuate. Rommel stands on a hill overlooking the desert. Behind him, the sun is setting. Ahead of him, the darkness is rising. Somewhere out there, in that darkness, the British are regrouping. They are bringing in fresh troops. They are bringing in new tanks. They are bringing in generals who have learned the lesson of the last 3 months. They are bringing in something else too. They are bringing in time. Time to build. Time to prepare. Time to wait. Rommel knows this. He knows that every day he does not reach the canal is a day the British get stronger. He knows that every mile he advances is a mile his supply lines stretch. He knows that every victory he wins is a victory that costs him men and machines he cannot replace. He knows all of this, and still he pushes, because stopping is death, because waiting is death, because the only chance is to go so fast, so hard, so far that the British break before his own army does. He stands on the hill and watches the sun go down. Behind him, his men are eating cold rations and checking their equipment and writing letters home that will never arrive. Ahead of him, the British are digging in and calling for reinforcements and waiting for the dawn. Rommel takes a deep breath. The air is hot. It is dry. It tastes of dust and diesel and distant death. He speaks to no one. He whispers to the darkness. "I will not stop," he says. "I cannot stop. If I stop, we die. If I stop, it was all for nothing. If I stop, the dead died for nothing. So I will not stop. I will go until the wheels fall off. I will go until the fuel runs out. I will go until there is nothing left to go with. And then I will walk. And then I will crawl. And then I will die. But I will not stop." The darkness does not answer. The darkness never answers. The darkness just waits. It has all the time in the world. It has been here for millions of years. It will be here for millions more. It has seen empires rise and fall. It has seen armies march and die. It has seen men come and go like grains of sand in a storm. The darkness is patient. The darkness waits. And somewhere out there, beyond the horizon, beyond the front lines, beyond the war, the British are playing golf. They are drinking gin. They are waiting too. They are waiting for the moment when the snake finally runs out of tail to eat. They are waiting for the math to catch up. They are waiting for the desert to do what the desert always does. They are waiting for Rommel to stop. He will not stop, not yet. But the desert has all the time in the world. The town of Mersa el Brega sits on the coast where the desert meets the sea in a thin line of white salt and broken rock. It is not a place anyone would choose to fight for. There is no water worth drinking. There is no shade worth sitting in. There is only a road, a few crumbling buildings, and the endless wind that carries sand from the interior and throws it into the faces of anyone foolish enough to stand in its way. On the last day of March, 1941, the British are standing in its way. They are dug in around the town with artillery and machine guns and a brigade of infantry that has been told to hold at all costs. They have been told that Rommel is coming. They have been told that he has 200 tanks. They have been told that he is a genius, a demon, a man who cannot be stopped. They have been told to dig deep and fight hard and trust that reinforcements are on the way. The reinforcements are not on the way. The reinforcements are playing golf in Cairo. The reinforcements are drinking gin and tonic on the terrace of the Shepherd's Hotel and discussing the cricket scores. The reinforcements do not believe that Rommel is coming. They believe that the reports are exaggerated. They believe that the Germans are bluffing. They believe that the war in Africa is over, and the only thing left to do is wait for the Italians to surrender again. The men at Mersa el Brega do not know this. They only know that the sun is hot, and the water is warm, and the sand gets into everything. They only know that they have been here for months, and nothing has happened, and probably nothing will happen. They are bored. They are tired. They are not ready. Rommel is always ready. The sun rises over the desert on the morning of March 31st. It rises fast and brutal, turning the eastern sky from black to orange to white in the space of minutes. The British soldiers light their morning fires, they boil their tea, they light their cigarettes. They look east toward the enemy and see nothing, just sand, just heat, just the same empty horizon they have seen every morning for the past 3 months. Then they see something else, a cloud, a dust cloud, rising from the desert like a brown curtain being pulled across the stage. It is huge. It is moving. It is coming straight toward them. The tea is forgotten. The cigarettes fall from lips. The officers grab their binoculars. They stare at the cloud. They try to count the vehicles inside it. They cannot. There are too many. There are hundreds. There are thousands. The cloud is full of tanks and trucks and half-tracks and motorcycles and men. The cloud is an army. The cloud is Rommel. The British commander gives the order to open fire. The artillery booms. The shells arc over the desert and disappear into the dust cloud. They hit nothing. They hit sand. They hit empty air. The cloud keeps coming. It swallows the sound of the guns. It swallows the light of the sun. It swallows everything. The first German tanks emerge from the dust when they are less than 500 meters away. They are not the heavy monsters the British expected. They are small. They are lightly armored. They are Czech-built tanks that were obsolete before the war began. But they are here, and they are firing, and their shells are tearing through the British positions like a knife through rotten cloth. The British break. They do not break in an orderly retreat. They do not break with covering fire and phased withdrawals. They break like a dam breaking. They run. They drop their rifles and run. They abandon their artillery and run. They climb into whatever trucks are still running, and they drive west, away from the dust cloud, away from the tanks, away from the demon who has risen from the desert to destroy them. Rommel watches them go. He is not in a tank. He is in his Storch airplane, flying low over the battlefield, watching the chaos unfold beneath him. He sees the British running. He sees his own men advancing. He sees the gap between them growing wider. He sees the opportunity. He lands the plane on the road ahead of his lead elements. He climbs out. He stands in the middle of the road with dust swirling around him and waves his arm forward. Keep going. Do not stop. Do not consolidate. Do not rest. Keep going. The tanks roll past him. The drivers see him standing there, this small man in a dusty uniform, and they press the accelerator harder. They will not stop. They cannot stop. The fox is watching. The retreat becomes a rout. The rout becomes a disaster. The British fall back 50 miles, then 100, then 200. They abandon depots full of supplies. They abandon airfields full of aircraft. They abandon hospitals full of wounded. They abandon everything that cannot move as fast as Rommel's tanks. The road is littered with the wreckage of an army in flight. Trucks burned out by the side of the road. Tanks with their tracks blown off and their hatches open. Bodies lying where they fell, already covered in the first thin layer of sand. The flies are having a feast. The vultures are circling. The desert is doing what the desert does. The German soldiers drive through this wreckage and they cannot believe their eyes. They were told they were coming to Africa to hold a line. They were told they were a blocking force, a tripwire, a sacrifice to buy time for the real war in Russia. Now they are advancing. Now they are winning. Now they are chasing the British Empire across its own colony like a pack of wolves chasing a wounded deer. They begin to believe. They begin to believe in Rommel. They begin to believe that this man can do anything. They begin to believe that they are invincible. This is the most dangerous thing a soldier can believe. In a captured British depot, a German soldier finds a crate of oranges. He has not seen an orange since he left Germany. He has not seen fresh fruit of any kind in months. He stares at the crate. He stares at the bright color of the oranges, so alien in this landscape of brown and yellow and gray. He reaches out a hand. He touches one. It is real. It is cool. It is perfect. He takes an orange. He holds it in both hands. He brings it to his nose and inhales the smell. It is the smell of life. It is the smell of home. It is the smell of everything he has lost and everything he is fighting for. He does not eat it. He cannot eat it. He just holds it. He holds it for a long time. Then he puts it in his pocket and goes back to work. He will carry that orange for 3 weeks. He will carry it through sandstorms and firefights and long nights of freezing cold. He will carry it until it rots. He will carry it until it is just a dried husk of what it once was. And then, when there is nothing left of it but memory, he will throw it away and wonder why he ever thought it mattered. This is what the desert does to men. It takes the things they love and turns them to dust. The advance continues. Tobruk appears on the horizon. Tobruk is the prize. Tobruk is the port. Tobruk is the key to everything. If Rommel takes Tobruk, he can supply his army by sea. He can shorten his supply lines. He can bring in reinforcements. He can push on to Egypt. He can take the canal. He can win the war. But Tobruk is not Mursa el Brega. Tobruk is not a roadblock manned by a single brigade. Tobruk is a fortress. The Australians who hold it have not been playing golf. They have been digging. They have been laying mines. They have been zeroing their artillery. They have been waiting. Rommel surrounds the town. He sends his tanks forward. They are met by a wall of fire. The Australian guns are accurate. The Australian soldiers are determined. They do not run. They do not break. They do not even flinch. They stand in their trenches, and they fight, and they kill, and they die, and they keep fighting. The German tanks burn. The German infantry is cut down. The German advance stalls. Rommel watches from his command vehicle. He watches his men die. He watches his tanks burn. He watches his momentum bleed away into the sand. He orders another attack. It fails. He orders another. It fails. He orders another. It fails. The men begin to understand something. They are not invincible. Rommel is not a god. Tobruk is a wall they cannot climb. In the German lines, a young soldier sits with his back against a rock. He is writing a letter. He does not have paper. He is writing on the back of a captured British map. He is writing with a pencil stub he found in the pocket of a dead Australian. He writes, "Mother, I have seen things I cannot describe. I have seen men burn. I have seen men scream. I have seen men die with their hands reaching for something that was not there. I have seen the desert take everything and give nothing back. I do not know if I will survive this. I do not know if I want to survive this. I do not know anything anymore except that the flies never stop, and the heat never ends, and the dead are everywhere. Pray for me, if you still believe in prayer. I have stopped believing in anything except the next breath, and the next bullet, and the next sunrise that brings more of the same." He folds the letter. He puts it in his pocket. He will never mail it. There is no mail service from the front lines. There is only the desert and the flies and the waiting. He closes his eyes. He tries to sleep. The guns are firing somewhere in the darkness. The shells are falling. The men are dying. He cannot sleep. He opens his eyes and looks at the stars. The stars are beautiful. The stars are indifferent. The stars have been watching men die for millions of years, and they will watch for millions more. He thinks about the orange. He thinks about the man who found it. He thinks about how that man held it, like it was the most precious thing in the world. He understands now. The orange was not just an orange. The orange was proof that there was still beauty somewhere. The orange was proof that the world was not only sand and blood and death. He wonders if he will ever see an orange again. He wonders if he will ever see anything again except sand and blood and death. The guns keep firing. The flies keep biting. The night keeps going. Tomorrow they will attack again. Tomorrow they will die again. Tomorrow they will learn again that Tobruk cannot be taken, and Rommel cannot be stopped, and nothing makes sense in this place where the rules of war have been replaced by the rules of survival. The soldier closes his eyes. He does not sleep. He just waits. The desert has taught him to wait. Rommel stands in his command tent. The tent is hot. The air is thick with the smell of sweat and maps and the kerosene burning in the lantern. He is alone. He is staring at the map of Tobruk. He has been staring at it for hours. He has traced every road. He has noted every strong point. He has calculated every angle of attack. He knows the fortress better than the Australians who hold it. He knows where every gun is placed. He knows where every minefield is laid. He knows where every unit is deployed. And he knows that he cannot take it. He does not have the men. He does not have the ammunition. He does not have the heavy artillery. He does not have the air support. He has nothing except the will to win, and the will is not enough. He thinks about the message from Berlin. The message that told him to hold his position. The message that told him not to advance. The message that told him to wait. He should have waited. He should have listened. He should have been the good soldier they wanted him to be. But he is not a good soldier. He is Rommel, and Rommel does not wait. He looks at the map. He looks at the lines he has drawn. He looks at the names of the Australian units. He looks at the terrain features. He looks at the coast. He looks at the sea. He looks at everything and he sees nothing, no solution, no answer, no way forward. He closes his eyes. For the first time since he landed in Africa, he allows himself to feel something other than determination. He allows himself to feel doubt. What if he has made a mistake? What if he has overreached? What if he has led these men to their deaths for nothing? What if the British are right? What if Africa is a sideshow? What if Russia is the real war? What if he has thrown away his career, his reputation, his life, for a port that will not fall and a canal he will never reach? He opens his eyes. He looks at the map again. He sees something he missed before. A wadi. A dry riverbed that leads to the southeastern corner of the perimeter. It is not defended. It is not even watched. It is a gap. A tiny gap. A crack in the armor of the fortress. He smiles. It is not a happy smile. It is the smile of a man who knows he is gambling everything on a single roll of the dice. He calls for his officers. They come. They are tired. They are dirty. They are discouraged. They have watched their friends die for nothing. They have lost faith. They have lost hope. Rommel looks at them. He sees their despair. He understands it. He shares it. But he cannot show it. He must be the fox. He must be the genius. He must be the man who can do anything. He points to the map. He points to the wadi. He tells them the plan. They listen. They nod. They do not believe. They have stopped believing. But they will follow. They will follow because there is nothing else to do. They will follow because the alternative is surrender or death. They will follow because Rommel is still standing, and as long as he stands, they can stand too. The meeting ends. The officers leave. Rommel is alone again. He looks at the map. He looks at the wadi. He looks at the tiny crack in the armor of the fortress. He whispers to himself. He whispers the same words he whispered on the hill weeks ago. I will not stop. I cannot stop. If I stop, we die. If I stop, it was all for nothing. If I stop, the dead died for nothing. He blows out the lantern. He lies down on his cot. He tries to sleep. He cannot. The guns are firing. The men are dying. The desert is waiting. Tomorrow he will attack again. Tomorrow he will try again. Tomorrow he will fail again. But he will not stop. The attack comes at dawn. The tanks roll forward. The infantry follows. They head for the wadi. They head for the gap. They head for the crack in the armor. The Australians are waiting. They have seen the gap too. They have reinforced it. They have laid more mines. They have zeroed more guns. They have turned the crack into a killing zone. The tanks hit the mines. They explode, they burn, the men inside scream. The screams carry across the desert. They echo off the rocks. They reach the ears of the men following behind. The men behind hesitate. They stop. They look at each other. They look at the burning tanks. They look at the screaming men. They look at the gap that is not a gap at all. The Australian guns open fire. The shells land among the infantry. Men are torn apart. Men are buried alive. Men are blinded by sand and blood and their own terror. They break. They run. They run back the way they came. They run past the burning tanks. They run past the screaming wounded. They run past Rommel, who stands in the open, watching his army disintegrate. Rommel does not move. He does not duck. He does not flinch. He stands in the middle of the chaos and watches his men run. He watches his plan fail. He watches his gamble lose. A shell lands nearby. The blast knocks him to the ground. He lies in the sand. He looks up at the sky. The sky is blue. The sky is empty. The sky does not care. He gets up. He brushes the sand from his uniform. He looks at the burning tanks. He looks at the dead men. He looks at the fortress that will not fall. He does not cry. He does not scream. He does not curse. He just turns and walks back to his command vehicle. He has learned something today. He has learned that even foxes can be trapped. He has learned that even geniuses can fail. He has learned that the desert does not care about reputations or plans or the will to win. The desert cares about one thing only: supplies, logistics, the math that Heinrich does in his office in Tripoli. Rommel does not have the supplies. He does not have the logistics. He does not have the math. He has only his will, and his will is not enough. That night, the young soldier sits again with his back against the rock. He is not writing a letter this time. He has nothing to write with. He has nothing to write on. He has nothing to say. He looks at the stars. The stars are still beautiful. The stars are still indifferent. The stars are still watching. He thinks about the morning. He thinks about the attack. He thinks about the men who died. He thinks about the men who screamed. He thinks about the men who ran. He thinks about Rommel. He thinks about the fox. He thinks about the man who stood in the middle of the chaos and did not flinch. He does not know what to think about Rommel anymore. Is he a genius? Is he a madman? Is he a savior? Is he a murderer? Is he leading them to victory or to death? He does not know. He does not know anything anymore. He only knows that the flies never stop, and the heat never ends, and the dead are everywhere. And tomorrow they will attack again, and tomorrow more will die, and the day after that they will attack again, and more will die, and it will never stop until there is no one left to die. He closes his eyes. He does not sleep. He just waits. The desert has taught him to wait. The desert has taught him something else too. The desert has taught him that waiting is all there is. Waiting and dying. Dying and waiting. The same thing over and over until the end. He opens his eyes. He looks at the stars. The stars are still there. The stars are still watching. He wonders if the stars ever get tired of watching. He wonders if the stars ever wish they could look away. He wonders if the stars ever close their eyes and try to forget what they have seen. Probably not. The stars are patient. The stars have all the time in the world. The stars can wait forever. So can the desert. The heat in July does not just burn. It crushes. It presses down on the skull like a hand from inside the sky. The men of the Afrika Korps have learned to move at night. They have learned to sleep during the day, if sleep is possible when the temperature inside a tent reaches 130 degrees, and the flies crawl into every open wound and every open mouth and every open eye. But this July, there is no sleep. This July, the British have stopped running. This July, the British are fighting back. The man who leads them is named Claude Auchinleck. He is not a showman. He is not a genius. He is not a fox or a lion or any other animal. He is a professional soldier who has done the math. The math tells him that Rommel is at the end of a supply line that stretches 1,000 miles. The math tells him that every German tank that moves burns fuel that cannot be replaced. The math tells him that if he can just hold, the pendulum will swing. Auchinleck holds. The line is called the El Alamein line. It is not a fortress. It is not a wall. It is just a place where the desert narrows. To the north, the sea. To the south, the Katara Depression. A vast bowl of salt marsh and quicksand where no army can move. The gap between them is 40 miles. 40 miles of bare rock and soft sand, and the ghosts of every army that has ever tried to cross it. Rommel reaches this line in late June. He has driven the British back 500 miles. He has captured 30,000 prisoners. He has taken enough supplies to keep his army moving for another month. He stands on a ridge overlooking the British positions, and he knows that this is the moment. This is the moment when he either breaks through or breaks apart. He attacks on July 1st. The attack fails. The British are ready. They have dug in. They have laid mines. They have zeroed their artillery. They have learned the lesson of Tobruk. They will not run again. Rommel attacks again on July 2nd. It fails. He attacks on July 3. It fails. He attacks on July 4th. It fails. The men are dying. The tanks are burning. The fuel is running out. The ammunition is running low. The water is warm and brackish and makes men sick. The flies are everywhere. The wounded lie in the field hospitals with their bellies cut open and their legs missing, and they scream for water that does not come, and morphine that ran out weeks ago. A medical officer writes in his journal, "I have run out of bandages. I have run out of antiseptic. I have run out of hope. The men come to me with wounds that would kill a horse, and I give them a sip of water and a pat on the shoulder. And I tell them they will be fine. They are not fine. They will never be fine. They will die here, in this place that God forgot, and no one will remember their names except the flies that eat their eyes." The journal is found later, clutched in the dead officer's hand. He died of dysentery, not bullets. The desert kills in many ways. In the British lines, something strange is happening. The men who were running for 6 months have stopped running. They have turned around. They are digging in. They are fighting back. They are learning that the Germans are not supermen. They bleed. They die. They run out of ammunition. They run out of water. They run out of hope. A young British lieutenant named James stands in a trench. He is 23 years old. He comes from a village in Kent, where his father farms sheep and his mother grows roses. He has been in the desert for 8 months. He has lost 20 pounds. He has lost his best friend. He has lost his belief that the British Empire is the greatest force for good the world has ever seen. He has gained only one thing: the knowledge that he can survive. He looks out across no man's land. The sun is setting. The heat is finally beginning to ease. In the distance, he can see the German positions. He can see the smoke from their cook fires. He can see the men moving between the tents. They look just like his men, tired, hungry, scared. They are not monsters. They are not demons. They are just men, doing what men do when other men tell them to kill. James thinks about the letter he received yesterday. It was from his mother. She wrote that the roses are blooming. She wrote that his father has bought a new tractor. She wrote that the whole village is proud of him. She wrote that they pray for him every night, and they know he will come home safe because God protects the brave. James folds the letter and puts it in his pocket. He does not laugh. He does not cry. He just looks at the German positions and wonders if those men have mothers too. He wonders if their mothers also pray. He wonders if God listens to both sides, or if God has better things to do than watch men kill each other over a piece of desert that no one will remember in 100 years. A shell lands nearby. The blast throws him against the wall of the trench. He picks himself up. He checks himself for blood. There is none. He is fine. He is alive. He will survive another day. He picks up his rifle and looks out again. The Germans are still there. The sun is still setting. The flies are still biting. He waits. The desert has taught him to wait. July 5th, July 6th, July 7th. The attacks continue. The failures continue. The deaths continue. Rommel stands in his command vehicle. He has not slept in 4 days. His eyes are red. His face is gaunt. His uniform hangs on him like a sack. He looks at the map. The map shows the same thing it showed a week ago. The British line, the minefields, the artillery positions. The same line, the same mines, the same guns. He has nothing new to throw at them. His tanks are down to 30 operational vehicles. His infantry is down to half strength. His artillery is running low on shells. His air support is almost non-existent because the Luftwaffe has been pulled back to prepare for something called Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of Russia, the real war, the war that matters. He is alone. His army is dying. His dream of the canal is fading. He thinks about the message he received yesterday. It was from Berlin. It was polite. It was firm. It was clear. The message said, "Hold your position. Do not advance. Do not risk the army. Wait for reinforcements. Wait for supplies. Wait." He has been waiting his whole life. He waited in the First World War. He waited in the trenches. He waited for promotion. He waited for recognition. He waited for the chance to prove himself. Now he has proven himself. He has driven the British across a continent. He has captured more ground with fewer men than any general in history. He has done everything they asked and more. And still they tell him to wait. He crumples the message. He throws it on the floor. He looks at the map again. He looks at the line. He looks at the guns. He looks at the men who are dying because he cannot find a way through. He does not know what to do. For the first time in his life, he does not know what to do. In the German lines, a signals officer sits in a truck full of radio equipment. His name is Fritz. He is 19 years old. He joined the army because his father was in the army, and his grandfather was in the army, and it never occurred to him that there was any other way to be a man. He operates the radio that keeps Rommel in touch with his divisions. He hears everything. He knows everything. He knows that the 15th Panzer Division is down to 12 tanks. He knows that the 21st Panzer Division is down to 10. He knows that the Italian divisions are refusing to fight. He knows that the fuel will run out in 3 days. He knows that the water will run out in 5. He knows that they are going to die. He does not tell anyone. He just sits in his truck and listens to the coded messages and writes them down and passes them to the officers who pass them to Rommel, who looks at them and says nothing. At night, when the transmissions stop, Fritz takes out a photograph. It is a photograph of a girl. Her name is Gretchen. She lives in his village. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, and a smile that makes him forget the war. He has not seen her in 2 years. He has written her 50 letters. She has written him 3. He does not blame her. What can you say to a man who is dying in a desert thousands of miles from home? He looks at the photograph. He touches her face. He whispers her name. He puts the photograph away. He goes back to work. The radio crackles. A new message is coming through. It is from the High Command in Berlin. It is addressed to Rommel. It is marked urgent. Fritz writes it down. His hands are shaking. The message says, "Operation Barbarossa has begun. The invasion of Russia is underway. No reinforcements can be sent to Africa until the Soviet Union is defeated. Hold your position. Do not expect supplies. Do not expect replacements. Do not expect anything." Fritz reads the message 3 times. He reads it until the words blur. He folds the paper carefully. He gets out of the truck. He walks through the darkness toward Rommel's tent. The guns are silent tonight. The men are trying to sleep. The flies are resting. The desert is quiet. It is the kind of quiet that comes before something terrible. Fritz reaches the tent. He hands the message to the guard. The guard takes it inside. Fritz waits. He does not know why he waits. He just stands there in the darkness, listening to the silence, waiting for something to happen. Nothing happens. The guard comes back out. He tells Fritz to return to his truck. There is no reply. There is no acknowledgement. There is nothing. Fritz walks back through the darkness. He climbs into his truck. He looks at the photograph of Gretchen. He looks at her smile. He looks at her eyes. He puts the photograph away. He lies down on the floor of the truck. He closes his eyes. He tries to sleep. He cannot. The silence is too loud. July 10th. The British attack. They hit the Italian positions south of the coast road. The Italians are not ready. They are tired. They are hungry. They are demoralized. They have been told that the Germans will protect them. They have been told that Rommel is a genius. They have been told that victory is just around the corner. They have been lied to. The British tanks roll over their trenches. The British infantry follows behind, shooting anyone who moves. The Italians break. They run. They throw down their weapons and run. They run toward the rear. They run toward the German lines. They run toward anything that looks like safety. Rommel hears the news. He is in his tent, staring at the map, when the report comes in. The Italian division has collapsed. The British are pouring through the gap. They are 3 miles behind the front lines. They are heading for the supply depots. If they reach the supply depots, the army starves. If they reach the supply depots, the war is over. Rommel moves. He does not think. He does not plan. He just moves. He jumps in his command vehicle and drives toward the sound of the guns. He drives through the chaos. He drives past the fleeing Italians. He drives past the burning vehicles. He drives straight into the middle of the battle. He finds a battery of German anti-tank guns. They are firing at the British tanks. They are hitting some. They are missing others. The British tanks are getting closer. The gunners are starting to panic. They are looking over their shoulders. They are looking for a way out. Rommel jumps out of his vehicle. He runs to the guns. He starts helping the gunners load. He is a general. He is a field marshal. He is one of the most famous men in Germany. And he is loading anti-tank guns like a private soldier, because that is what the moment requires. The men see him. They stop panicking. They keep firing. They hit another tank, then another, then another. The British advance stalls. The British tanks start to reverse. The British infantry pulls back. Rommel stands in the smoke and the dust and the blood. He is covered in grime. He is covered in sweat. He is covered in the evidence of his own desperation. He looks at the men around him. They are looking back at him. They are not looking at a general. They are looking at something else. They are looking at a man who will do anything to win. He does not say anything. He just gets back in his vehicle and drives away. He has other fires to put out, other gaps to fill, other crises to manage. The men watch him go. They do not cheer, they do not salute, they just watch. They will remember this moment for the rest of their lives. They will tell their children about it. They will tell their grandchildren. They will tell anyone who will listen about the day they saw Rommel loading guns in the middle of a battle. But they will not tell them the whole truth. They will not tell them that Rommel looked scared. They will not tell them that his hands were shaking. They will not tell them that for one terrible moment, the fox looked like a man who knew he was trapped. They will not tell them because they do not want to believe it themselves. The battle rages for 2 more weeks. The British attack. The Germans counterattack. The Italians run. The Germans hold. The supply lines stretch. The ammunition runs low. The water runs low. The food runs low. The men run on nothing but will and fear and the desperate hope that tomorrow will be better. It is not better. It is never better. July 15th, July 21st, July 27th. The attacks come and go. The dead pile up. The wounded scream. The flies feast. On July 27th, the British launch their biggest attack yet. They hit the center of the line with 2 brigades of infantry and 100 tanks. They break through. They are inside the German positions. They are heading for the rear areas. They are minutes away from cutting the army in half. Rommel has nothing left to stop them. No reserves, no tanks, no guns. Nothing except a handful of anti-aircraft guns and a battalion of signals troops and a few cooks and drivers and mechanics. He throws them into the line, he stands with them, he fires with them, he dies with them. The British keep coming. The German line bends. It bends further. It is about to break. And then something happens. The British tanks stop. They do not stop because they are hit. They stop because they are out of fuel. They have advanced too fast. They have outrun their supply lines. They have done exactly what Rommel did 6 months ago. They have pushed too far, too fast, with too little. The German anti-aircraft guns open fire. The British tanks brew up. The British infantry is cut off. The British attack stalls. The British withdraw. Rommel stands in the smoke and the dust and the blood. He watches the British go. He does not cheer. He does not celebrate. He just watches. He knows what just happened. He knows that he was saved, not by his own genius, but by the enemy's mistake. He knows that the pendulum has swung, and it swung against him, and only luck kept it from crushing him entirely. He walks back to his command vehicle. He sits down. He puts his head in his hands. He stays like that for a long time. The men leave him alone. They understand. They have all had moments like this. Moments when the weight of everything becomes too much. Moments when the only thing left to do is sit and wait for the feeling to pass. It passes. It always passes. But it always comes back. August 1st. The fighting dies down. Both sides are exhausted. Both sides have taken losses they cannot replace. Both sides need time to rest, to refit, to reinforce. The line stabilizes. The trenches are dug deeper. The minefields are expanded. The guns are zeroed on the gaps. The men settle into the routine of static warfare, the kind of warfare they thought they had left behind in France. The desert has become a siege. Two armies facing each other across 40 miles of sand and rock and death, waiting, watching, wondering who will move first. Rommel sits in his tent. He is writing a letter. It is not to his wife. It is not to his son. It is to himself. He writes down everything he has learned in the past 6 months. He writes down his mistakes. He writes down his successes. He writes down the names of the men who died, and the battles they died in, and the reasons they died for. He writes for hours. He fills page after page. He does not stop until his hand cramps and his eyes burn and the words blur on the page. He puts down the pen. He reads what he has written. He sees the pattern. He sees the truth. He sees that the war in Africa cannot be won. Not with the forces he has. Not with the supplies he receives. Not with the support he gets from Berlin. The math is against him. The geography is against him. The enemy is against him. Everything is against him. He closes the notebook. He puts it in his safe. He will never show it to anyone. He will never admit what he has written. He will never acknowledge that he knows the truth. But the truth is there. It sits in the safe. It waits. It knows that eventually it will come out. Eventually everyone will know what Rommel knew in August of 1941. The war in Africa is lost. It has been lost since the day he arrived. It was lost before he ever set foot on the sand. It was lost when Hitler decided that Russia was more important than the Mediterranean. It was lost when the first supply ship was sunk by a British submarine. It was lost when the first truck burned more fuel than it could carry. It was lost. It is lost. It will always be lost. But Rommel cannot say this. He cannot stop. He cannot retreat. He cannot admit defeat. He must keep fighting. He must keep killing. He must keep sending men to die for a cause that cannot succeed. Because that is what generals do. They fight. They kill. They die. They do not ask why. That night, Fritz sits in his radio truck. He is listening to the transmissions. He hears the British talking. They are confident. They are planning. They are bringing in reinforcements. They are bringing in new tanks. They are bringing in new generals. One of them is named Montgomery. The British call him Monty. They say he is a killer. They say he is coming to finish the job. Fritz writes it down. He will report it in the morning. He will tell the officers, who will tell Rommel, who will nod and say nothing and go back to staring at his maps. Fritz puts down his pencil. He takes out the photograph of Gretchen. He looks at her face. He touches her smile. He whispers her name. He wonders if he will ever see her again. He wonders if she is still waiting. He wonders if she has found someone else. He wonders if she even remembers his name. He puts the photograph away. He lies down on the floor of the truck. He closes his eyes. He tries to sleep. The radio crackles. It is a new transmission. It is from Berlin. It is for Rommel. It is marked urgent. Fritz gets up. He writes it down. His hands are not shaking this time. He is too tired to shake. The message says, "Reinforcements are being prepared. A new division is being formed. It will be sent to Africa as soon as possible. Until then, hold your position. Do not retreat. Do not surrender. Do not lose hope." Fritz reads the message. He does not believe it. He has stopped believing in messages from Berlin. He has stopped believing in hope. He folds the paper. He walks through the darkness toward Rommel's tent. The guns are silent. The flies are resting. The desert is quiet. He hands the message to the guard. He waits. Nothing happens. The guard comes back. He tells Fritz to return to his truck. Fritz walks back through the darkness. He climbs into his truck. He lies down on the floor. He closes his eyes. The radio crackles. He ignores it. He does not care anymore. He does not care about messages or battles or victories or defeats. He cares about one thing only: sleep. He sleeps. He dreams of Gretchen. He dreams of green fields and cold water and the smell of bread baking. He dreams of home. He wakes up. The sun is rising. The heat is already building. The flies are already biting. The war is still there. He gets up. He goes back to work. He does not look at the photograph. He does not think about home. He thinks about the day ahead. The transmissions, the messages, the waiting. The waiting never ends. August becomes September. September becomes October. The heat begins to ease. The nights begin to cool. The men begin to hope that winter will bring relief. It does not bring relief. It brings something else. It brings a new general. It brings a new army. It brings a new plan. The British are preparing. The reinforcements are arriving. The new tanks are being unloaded at the docks. The new soldiers are being trained in the desert. The new guns are being zeroed on the German lines. Rommel watches it all. He sees the dust clouds from the British convoys. He sees the aircraft overhead. He sees the supply ships in the distance. He knows what is coming. He has always known. He stands on a ridge overlooking the British positions. Behind him, his army waits, tired, hungry, hopeless. They have stopped believing in victory. They have stopped believing in Rommel. They have stopped believing in anything except survival. He looks at the British lines. He sees the activity. He sees the preparations. He sees the future. He knows that when the British come, they will come with everything. They will come with tanks and planes and guns and men. They will come with supplies and reinforcements and plans and determination. They will come to kill him and his army and everything he has built. And he knows that when they come, he will not be able to stop them. He stands on the ridge for a long time. The sun sets behind him. The darkness rises ahead of him. The British lights come on in their camps. They are not hiding. They do not need to hide. They are strong. They are getting stronger. Rommel turns away. He walks back to his command vehicle. He does not look back. He knows what is coming. He has always known. The pendulum has swung. It swung against him in July. It swung further in August. It swung further still in September. And now, in October, it is swinging back with a force that will crush everything in its path. He cannot stop it. No one can stop it. The desert will have its victory. The desert always wins. The Mediterranean Sea is blue. This is the first thing every soldier notices when he sails south from Italy. After the gray of the Atlantic, after the green of the French coast, after the brown of the German rivers, the blue of the Mediterranean is almost obscene. It is the blue of postcards, the blue of tourist brochures, the blue of a world that has never known war. But beneath that blue, the wrecks are piling up. They lie on the bottom in water so clear that pilots flying overhead can see them. Tankers with their backs broken. Freighters with their bows blown off. Troop ships with their holds full of men who never learned to swim. They rest on the white sand, like offerings to some ancient god of the sea. The fish swim through their rusting hulls. The sunlight filters down and dances across their decks. They are beautiful. They are terrible. They are the reason the Afrika Korps is dying. The island sits in the middle of this blue sea. It is a rock, 20 miles long, 8 miles wide, barely visible on most maps. But on the maps in Berlin and Rome and London, it is painted red. Blood red. Because this rock is killing them. The rock is called Malta. The men who live on Malta live underground. The surface is too dangerous. The German and Italian air forces have been trying to pound the island into submission for 18 months. They have dropped more bombs on Malta than on London. The buildings are rubble. The docks are wreckage. The airfields are craters. Nothing moves above ground during daylight except the flies and the rats and the bodies of those who moved too slowly. But underground, the island lives. The British have carved tunnels into the rock, hospitals, command centers, repair shops, ammunition stores, barracks for 10,000 men. They live in these tunnels like moles. They sleep in these tunnels. They eat in these tunnels. They fight from these tunnels. And every night, when the darkness covers the sea, they come out. They come out to the harbors, where the submarines are waiting. They come out to the airfields, where the torpedo bombers are fueled. They come out to do the only thing that matters: kill the ships that are trying to feed Rommel. A young officer named David commands one of the submarines. He is 25 years old. He comes from a town in Scotland, where his father is a minister and his mother teaches piano. He joined the Navy because he wanted to see the world. He has seen the world. He has seen it through a periscope, in grainy green images, as his torpedoes race toward ships full of men who are about to die. David does not think about those men. He cannot think about them. If he thought about them, he would stop. If he stopped, the war would stop. If the war stopped, Rommel would get his supplies. If Rommel got his supplies, he would take the canal. If he took the canal, the empire would fall. So David does not think. He just aims. He just fires. He just kills. Tonight his submarine is lying on the bottom, waiting. The water is warm. The air is thick. The men are sweating. They have been here for 12 hours, listening to the propellers of the convoy overhead. They cannot move. They cannot surface. They cannot even whisper. They just wait. The hydrophone operator has his headphones on. He is listening to the screws of the destroyers. He counts them. 4, 6, 8. They are sweeping the area looking for submarines. They are getting closer. Their screws are getting louder. They are right above. David holds his breath. The men hold their breath. The submarine holds its breath. The destroyer passes. The screws fade. The men exhale. David gives the order. Surface. The compressed air hisses. The submarine rises. The periscope breaks the surface. David looks. He sees them. 6 freighters. 4 destroyers. 3,000 tons of fuel and ammunition and food and water. All of it heading for Rommel. All of it about to die. He gives the order. Fire. The torpedoes leap from the tubes. They leave bubbles in the water. They leave trails of white foam. They leave no time for prayer. The first freighter explodes. The second freighter explodes. The third freighter is hit but does not explode. It just lists. It just sinks. Slowly. Quietly. Taking its cargo to the bottom. The destroyers are racing now. They are dropping depth charges. The water around the submarine turns to thunder. The submarine dives. The depth charges keep coming. They are close. They are too close. The hull groans. The lights flicker. The men hold on. David counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The depth charges stop. The destroyers have lost him. They are moving away, searching for a ghost. David surfaces again. He looks through the periscope. The convoy is gone. 2 freighters are burning on the horizon. 3 are already under the waves. The destroyers are picking up survivors. He gives the order. Crash dive. Back to the bottom. Back to the waiting. Back to the killing. The men do not cheer. They never cheer. They just go back to work. In Rome, the men who plan the convoys are going mad. They sit in a building with high ceilings and cool marble floors. They wear clean uniforms and polished boots. They drink coffee from china cups. They look at charts and graphs and shipping schedules. They calculate tonnages and departure times and escort requirements. And every day, they get the same news. The convoy was attacked. The convoy was sunk. The convoy did not arrive. The numbers are worse than the words. In January of 1941, 90% of the supplies sent to Africa arrived. In March, 70% arrived. In June, 50% arrived. In September, 30% arrived. In October, the numbers are still coming in, but everyone knows what they will show. 20%. Maybe less. Maybe nothing. The men in Rome look at the numbers and they do not understand. They are doing everything right. They are sending more escorts. They are varying the routes. They are coordinating with the Air Force. They are doing everything the textbooks say. But the textbooks were not written about Malta. The textbooks were not written about an island that refuses to die. The textbooks were not written about submarines that hide on the bottom, and bombers that come at night, and a navy that will not stop. One of the men puts down his coffee. He looks at the chart. He looks at the little dot in the middle of the sea. Malta. He has been staring at that dot for 18 months. He has been trying to kill it for 18 months. He has dropped more bombs on that dot than on any other target in the Mediterranean. He has sent more planes to destroy that dot than he can count. And still the dot is there. Still the submarines come, still the bombers fly, still the ships sink. He picks up his coffee. He takes a sip. He puts it down. He looks at the dot again. He does not say anything. There is nothing to say. The dot is winning. On Malta, the bombing continues. The German and Italian air forces are trying something new. They are sending waves of planes, one after another, all day and all night. They are trying to break the spirit of the island. They are trying to make the people surrender. They are trying to starve the submarines of fuel and the bombers of bombs and the soldiers of food. The people of Malta are not surrendering. They are living underground. They are eating bread made from sawdust. They are drinking water that tastes of rust. They are watching their children die of diseases that medicine could cure if only the ships would come. But they are not surrendering. A woman named Maria lives in one of the tunnels. She is 40 years old. She has 3 children. Her husband was killed in the first month of the bombing, crushed by a wall that fell on him while he was trying to get to work. She does not think about her husband. She cannot think about her husband. If she thought about her husband, she would stop. If she stopped, her children would die. So she does not think. She just works. She works in a factory that repairs aircraft. It is underground. It is lit by electric lights that flicker when the generators cough. It is full of noise and dust and the smell of oil and sweat. She works 12 hours a day, sometimes more. She replaces rivets. She patches holes. She does whatever needs to be done. The men she works with are amazed by her. They tell her she is brave. Feels nothing except the need to keep moving, keep working, keep surviving. At night, after her shift, she goes back to the corner of the tunnel where her children sleep. She lies down beside them. She listens to their breathing. She listens to the bombs falling overhead. She listens to the anti-aircraft guns firing back. She listens to the war. She does not pray. She stopped praying when her husband died. She just lies there in the darkness and waits for morning. The morning always comes. The morning always brings more work, more bombs, more death. She does not think about the future. There is no future. There is only today. There is only this tunnel. There is only this moment. She closes her eyes. She sleeps. She dreams of nothing. In Berlin, the men who plan the war are meeting. They sit in a room with a long table and leather chairs and a map of the world on the wall. They are discussing the situation in the Mediterranean. It is a brief discussion. Africa is still a sideshow. Russia is the main event. The panzers are driving toward Moscow. The Soviet army is collapsing. The war will be over by Christmas. The men agree that Malta must be dealt with. They agree that the air campaign must be intensified. They agree that more resources must be committed. They agree that Rommel's supply situation is critical. Then they move on to the next topic. The next topic is always Russia. Russia is where the war will be won. Russia is where the glory is. Russia is where the future lies. The men do not realize that Malta is the future. They do not realize that every ship sunk off its coast is a nail in Rommel's coffin. They do not realize that the island they cannot kill is killing them. They are not stupid. They are not blind. They are just focused. They are focused on the big picture. They are focused on the main event. They are focused on Russia. And while they focus on Russia, Malta keeps killing. The convoy that leaves Italy on the night of October 15th is the biggest yet. 6 freighters, 10 destroyers, 2 cruisers, air cover from bases in Sicily. It is everything the Italians can spare. It is everything Rommel needs. The men on the ships know what they are facing. They have heard the stories. They have seen the wreckage. They know that half of them will not make it. They know that the water is full of submarines. They know that the sky is full of bombers. They know that Malta is waiting. But they go anyway. They go because they have orders. They go because they have no choice. They go because someone has to feed Rommel. The first night is quiet. The sea is calm. The sky is clear. The men begin to hope. Maybe this time will be different. Maybe this time they will get through. Maybe this time Malta will sleep. Malta does not sleep. The second night the bombers come. They come at midnight, when the moon is down and the sea is dark. They come in waves, low and fast, their engines barely audible over the wind. They drop flares first. The flares hang in the air like tiny suns. They light up the convoy. They turn night into day. They show the bombers exactly where to aim. The bombs fall. The ships explode. The men scream. The sea burns. The destroyers fire their anti-aircraft guns. The tracers arc into the sky. They hit nothing. The bombers are already gone. They are already heading back to Malta to rearm and refuel and return. The convoy reassembles. The damaged ships are left behind. The others press on. They have to press on. There is no turning back. The third night, the submarines come. They are lying in wait, just outside the harbor, where the convoy is supposed to dock. They have been there for days, listening, waiting, patient as the dead. The first submarine fires. A freighter explodes. The second submarine fires. A destroyer is hit. The third submarine fires. Another freighter explodes. The destroyers drop depth charges. They hunt the submarines. They chase them across the sea. They drive them down into the deep. But the submarines are ghosts. They disappear. They reappear. They kill again. By dawn, 3 freighters are at the bottom. 1 destroyer is sinking. 200 men are dead. The rest of the convoy limps into harbor with what is left of their cargo. 5,000 tons of supplies out of the 20,000 that started. 5,000 tons, enough to keep Rommel alive for another week, maybe 2. The men who survive are pulled from the water. They are covered in oil. They are shaking with cold. They are crying. They are laughing. They are insane. They have seen too much. They have lost too much. They are not men anymore. They are just shells, empty vessels, waiting to be filled with whatever comes next. The Maltese take them prisoner. They march them to the camps. They give them food and water and blankets. They treat them with a kindness that the Germans cannot understand. One of the prisoners asks a guard, "Why are you being so nice to us?" "We were trying to kill you." The guard does not answer. He just walks away. He does not know the answer. He only knows that he is tired of killing. He only knows that these men are not his enemies. They are just men, like him, caught in something too big to understand. In his headquarters near the front, Rommel reads the report. He reads it slowly. He reads it twice. He reads it 3 times. The convoy has arrived. 5,000 tons of supplies. 5,000 tons of fuel and ammunition and food and water. 5,000 tons of hope. He does the math. He always does the math. The army needs 10,000 tons a week to operate. 10,000 tons to move. 10,000 tons to fight. 10,000 tons to win. He has 5,000 tons. For 2 weeks. Maybe 3. Then nothing. Then the tanks stop. Then the guns go silent. Then the men starve. He puts down the report. He looks at the map. He looks at the line. He looks at the British positions, growing stronger every day. He looks at his own positions, growing weaker. He thinks about Malta. He thinks about that rock. He thinks about the submarines and the bombers and the men who live underground. He thinks about how something so small can cause so much death. He hates that rock. He hates it with a hatred that has no end. He hates it more than he hates the British. He hates it more than he hates the Americans who are not even in the war yet. He hates it more than he hates Hitler for ignoring him, and Mussolini for failing him, and the Italians for running away. He hates Malta. And there is nothing he can do about it. He cannot bomb it. He cannot invade it. He cannot starve it. It is too far away. It is too well defended. It is too strong. He can only watch as it kills him. Slowly, patiently, relentlessly. He folds the report. He puts it in his pocket. He walks outside. He looks at the sky. He looks at the sea. He looks at the desert. He does not say anything. There is nothing to say. In a hospital in Malta, a young nurse named Sarah is working. She is 22 years old. She came to Malta from England because she wanted to help. She wanted to make a difference. She wanted to be part of something important. Now she is part of something terrible. The hospital is full of wounded. Men with no legs, men with no faces, men with no minds. They scream all night. They cry for their mothers. They reach out with hands that are not there. Sarah moves among them. She changes their bandages. She gives them water. She holds their hands. She tells them lies. She tells them they will be fine. She tells them they will go home. She tells them the war will end soon. She does not believe the lies. She cannot believe them. She has seen too much. She has held too many hands as the life slipped away. She has closed too many eyes. She has written too many letters to mothers who will never see their sons again. But she keeps telling the lies, because the lies are all she has. The lies are all they have. Without the lies, there is only the truth. And the truth is too terrible to face. She finishes her shift. She walks back to her quarters. She lies down on her bed. She stares at the ceiling. She listens to the bombs falling. She listens to the guns firing. She listens to the war. She does not cry. She cannot cry. She has forgotten how. She closes her eyes. She sleeps. She dreams of England. She dreams of green fields and gentle rain and the sound of church bells. She dreams of a world that does not exist anymore. She wakes up. The bombs are still falling. The guns are still firing. The war is still there. She gets up. She goes back to work. October becomes November. The bombing continues. The sinking continues. The dying continues. On Malta, the food is running out. The water is running out. The medicine is running out. The people are eating their pets. They are eating the rats. They are eating anything that moves. But they are not surrendering. A convoy from England is on its way. It is the biggest convoy yet. 17 freighters, a battleship, 2 aircraft carriers, 7 cruisers, 24 destroyers. It is everything the Royal Navy can spare. It is everything Malta needs. The Germans and Italians know it is coming. They are preparing to stop it. They are sending every plane they have. They are sending every submarine. They are sending everything. The convoy is called Operation Pedestal. The men who sail it know what they are facing. They know that most of them will not make it. They know that the sea will be red with blood. They know that Malta is waiting. They go anyway. They go because they have orders. They go because they have no choice. They go because someone has to feed the island that is feeding the war. The first day, the submarines attack. A carrier is hit. A cruiser is hit. A freighter is hit. The convoy sails on. The second day, the bombers attack. The sky turns black with planes. The ships turn white with foam as they twist and turn to avoid the bombs. The bombs fall. The ships explode. The men die. The convoy sails on. The third day, the E-boats attack. They are fast. They are small. They are deadly. They come at night, when the convoy is tired and the lookouts are blind. They fire their torpedoes, and they disappear. Another freighter is hit. Another cruiser is hit. Another destroyer is hit. The convoy sails on. By the time the survivors reach Malta, only 5 freighters are left. 5 out of 17. 12 are at the bottom of the sea. Thousands of men are dead. But those 5 freighters carry what Malta needs: food, water, medicine, fuel, ammunition, hope. The people of Malta line the harbor as the ships come in. They cheer, they cry, they pray. They know what it cost. They know that men died to bring them this. They know that more men will die to keep it. But for now, for this moment, they have what they need. They have food. They have water. They have medicine. They have fuel. They have ammunition. They have hope. The island will live. The submarines will sail again. The bombers will fly again. The killing will continue. But the island will live. In his headquarters, Rommel reads the report. The convoy reached Malta. The island is resupplied. The submarines will keep coming. The bombers will keep coming. The ships will keep sinking. He puts down the report. He does not do the math this time. He already knows the math. The math says he is dying. The math says his army is dying. The math says the war is dying. He looks at the map. He looks at the line. He looks at the British positions. They are stronger than ever. They have new tanks, new guns, new men, new generals. He looks at his own positions. They are weaker than ever. His tanks are old. His guns are worn. His men are tired. His supplies are gone. He thinks about Malta. He thinks about that rock. He thinks about how it killed him. Not in one big battle, not in a single moment of glory, but slowly, patiently, relentlessly, day after day, week after week, month after month. He thinks about the ships at the bottom of the sea. He thinks about the men who died on them. He thinks about the fuel that never arrived, the ammunition that never arrived, the food that never arrived, the water that never arrived. He thinks about his tanks, stopped in the desert because there is no fuel. He thinks about his guns, silent because there are no shells. He thinks about his men, starving because there is no food. He thinks about Malta. He closes his eyes. He does not pray. He stopped praying long ago. He just sits there in the darkness and waits for whatever comes next. The waiting never ends. In the radio truck near the front, Fritz sits with his headphones on. He is listening to the British. They are talking about the convoy. They are celebrating. They are calling it a victory. They are calling it proof that Malta cannot be beaten. Fritz takes off his headphones. He takes out the photograph of Gretchen. He looks at her face. He touches her smile. He whispers her name. He wonders if she knows what is happening here. He wonders if she knows about Malta. He wonders if she knows that a little rock in the middle of the sea is killing him as surely as any bullet. He puts the photograph away. He puts the headphones back on. He listens to the British celebrating. They have reason to celebrate. They are winning. They do not know it yet. They cannot see it yet. But they are winning. The island that would not die is killing the army that cannot be fed. The submarines are doing their work. The bombers are doing their work. The rock is doing its work. Rommel is dying. The Afrika Korps is dying. The war in Africa is dying. And Malta, small and battered and bleeding, sits in the middle of the blue sea and watches it happen. The rock has all the time in the world. The winter of 1941 comes to the desert. It does not come gently. It comes with rain that turns the sand to mud. It comes with wind that tears tents from their stakes and sends them tumbling across the flat expanse like ghosts fleeing a battle. It comes with cold that seeps into the bones of men who have forgotten what cold feels like. The men of the Afrika Korps huddle in their trenches. They wrap themselves in blankets taken from the dead. They burn fuel they cannot spare to heat water they cannot find. They wait. They have been waiting for months, waiting for supplies, waiting for reinforcements, waiting for orders, waiting for something to change. In Berlin, something has changed. The war in Russia has not ended by Christmas. The panzers are stuck in the snow outside Moscow. The Soviet army is not collapsing. The Soviet army is fighting. The Soviet army is killing. The Soviet army is winning. The High Command looks at the map of Russia and sees disaster. They look at the map of Africa and see a sideshow. They have no men to spare for Rommel. No tanks, no planes, no supplies. He must hold with what he has. He must wait. Rommel does not wait well. January 1942. The rains stop, the mud hardens, the sun returns. And with the sun comes something new. Ships are arriving in Tripoli. Not many, not enough, but more than before. The Luftwaffe has finally agreed to help. They have transferred squadrons from Russia to Sicily. They are bombing Malta around the clock. The submarines are having to dive deeper, stay down longer, hunt more carefully. The convoys are getting through. Rommel looks at the supply reports and sees something he has not seen in months. A surplus. A small surplus. A tiny surplus. But a surplus nonetheless. Enough fuel to move. Enough ammunition to fight. Enough food to eat. He calls his officers together. He shows them the map. He points to a place called Gazala. It is a line of fortified boxes stretching from the coast to the south. The British are dug in there. They have minefields and artillery and tanks. They think they are safe. They think Rommel is finished. They think the winter has broken him. Rommel smiles. It is not a kind smile. It is the smile of a predator who has just realized his prey has stopped running. He tells them the plan. They will attack at Gazala. They will go around the British flank, through the desert, where no one expects an army to move. They will hit them from behind. They will cut their supply lines. They will destroy them. The officers listen. They nod. They have heard this before. They have seen this before. They have followed this man across a continent and into the jaws of death. They will follow him again. But this time, something is different. This time, they have supplies. This time, they have fuel. This time, they have a chance. The British are not stupid. They know Rommel is planning something. Their intelligence services have intercepted messages. Their reconnaissance planes have seen the buildup. Their spies have reported the activity. But they do not believe what they see. They cannot believe it. The numbers do not add up. Rommel does not have enough fuel. He does not have enough tanks. He does not have enough men. Any attack would be suicide. Any attack would be madness. Rommel is many things, but he is not mad. So they wait. They wait for him to do the sensible thing. They wait for him to retreat. They wait for him to surrender. They are still waiting when the panzers roll past their southern flank on the night of May 26th. The man leading the attack is named Ludwig. He is a tank commander. He is 29 years old. He has been in Africa since the beginning. He has seen friends die. He has seen enemies die. He has seen things that cannot be unseen. But he has never stopped believing in Rommel. He has never stopped believing that the fox will find a way. Tonight, his belief is rewarded. The panzers roll through the darkness. The desert is flat. Sees them. No one stops them. No one even sees them. No one stops them. No one even knows they are there. As the sun rises, Ludwig sees them, the British rear areas, the supply depots, the headquarters, the soft underbelly of the army that thought it was safe. They are spread out before him like a feast. They are waiting to be eaten. He gives the order. The tanks accelerate. The guns fire. The British scatter. They are cooks and clerks and drivers. They are not fighters. They are not ready. They die where they stand. Ludwig drives through the chaos. He sees a British officer trying to organize a defense. He sees the officer cut down by machine gun fire. He sees a truck full of ammunition explode. He sees men running in every direction, their uniforms on fire, their screams lost in the roar of engines and the crash of shells. He does not feel triumph. He does not feel joy. He feels nothing. He has been doing this too long to feel anything. He just drives. He just kills. He just keeps going. The British are not finished. They are shocked, but they are not broken. They have tanks of their own. They have guns of their own. They have generals who know how to fight. They regroup. They counterattack. The battle that was supposed to be a rout becomes a slugging match. The tanks meet in the open desert. They fire at point-blank range. They brew up. They burn. The men inside scream. The men outside die. The sand turns black with smoke and red with blood. Ludwig's tank is hit. The shell does not penetrate. It rings the bell. It leaves a crater in the armor. It leaves a ringing in his ears that will never go away. He keeps fighting. He has no choice. There is nowhere to run. There is nowhere to hide. There is only the battle and the dead and the endless desert. The battle lasts for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of attack and counterattack. 2 weeks of advance and retreat. 2 weeks of killing and dying and killing again. Rommel is everywhere. He flies from one crisis to another in his Storch plane. He lands next to burning tanks. He stands in the middle of firefights. He rallies men who have lost all hope. He is not a general anymore. He is a talisman. He is a symbol. He is proof that the war can still be won. On June 10th, the British crack. Their line bends. It bends further. It breaks. They begin to retreat. They begin to run. They begin to do what they have not done since the dark days of 1941. They abandon everything: tanks, guns, trucks, supplies. They abandon their wounded. They abandon their dead. They abandon their pride. They run for the coast. They run for the border. They run for Egypt. Rommel pursues. He drives his men harder than they have ever been driven. He ignores their exhaustion. He ignores their hunger. He ignores their fear. He tells them to keep going. Keep going. Keep going. They keep going. June 20th. Tobruk. The fortress that stopped Rommel in 1941 is in front of him again. The Australians are gone. They have been replaced by a South African division. The South Africans are not ready. They have been told the line will hold. They have been told Rommel is finished. They have been told to relax. They are not relaxed when the Stukas appear. They are not relaxed when the bombs fall. They are not relaxed when the panzers roll through the smoke and the dust and the death. The attack is swift. It is brutal. It is perfect. The infantry follow the tanks. The engineers clear the mines. The artillery pounds the strongpoints. The Air Force covers the sky. Everything works. Everything clicks. Everything dies. By nightfall, Tobruk has fallen. 33,000 prisoners, thousands of tons of supplies, hundreds of vehicles, fuel, food, water, ammunition, everything Rommel needs. Everything Rommel has been dreaming of for a year. He stands in the town square as the sun sets. He is surrounded by his men. They are cheering. They are crying. They are holding up their rifles and shouting his name. Rommel, Rommel, Rommel. He does not cheer. He does not cry. He just stands there, looking at the wreckage, looking at the dead, looking at the future. He knows what this means. He knows that Berlin will be ecstatic. He knows that Hitler will promote him. He knows that the world will call him a genius. He knows that he has done what no one thought possible. But he also knows something else. He knows that this is the high point. He knows that from here, there is only one direction to go. He knows that the feast is about to end and the famine is about to begin. He does not say this. He cannot say this. He just stands there in the square, listening to the cheering, watching the sun go down, waiting for whatever comes next. The news reaches Berlin the next morning. The High Command is stunned. They did not think Tobruk could fall. They did not think Rommel could do it. They did not think Africa could be won. Hitler is overjoyed. He promotes Rommel to Field Marshal. He is the youngest man in the German army to hold that rank. He is 30 years old. He has done what no one else could do. He is the hero of the Reich. The promotion is sent by radio. It reaches Rommel in his command vehicle. He reads the message. He does not smile. He does not celebrate. He just folds the paper and puts it in his pocket. His officers congratulate him. They shake his hand. They slap his back. They tell him he deserves it. They tell him he is the greatest general in the world. He looks at them. He sees the joy in their eyes. He sees the hope. He sees the belief. He wants to tell them the truth. He wants to tell them that the promotion means nothing. He wants to tell them that Tobruk changes nothing. He wants to tell them that they are still alone, still outnumbered, still stranded at the end of a supply line that stretches across a sea full of submarines and an island full of bombers. He wants to tell them that the real battle is yet to come and that they will lose it. He does not tell them. He cannot tell them. He just nods and thanks them and goes back to work. There is work to do. The British are running. The canal is waiting. The dream is still alive. He will chase it. He will chase it until there is nothing left to chase with. He will chase it until the wheels fall off and the fuel runs out and the men collapse. He will chase it because that is what he does. That is what he has always done. He is the fox. The fox does not stop. The British retreat is a disaster. They have lost Tobruk. They have lost 33,000 men. They have lost hundreds of tanks and thousands of trucks and mountains of supplies. They have lost their confidence. They have lost their nerve. They have lost their will to fight. The road to Egypt is open. The road to the canal is open. The road to victory is open. Rommel drives down that road. He drives past the wreckage of the British Army. He drives past the burning tanks and the abandoned trucks and the dead men lying in the sand. He drives past the flies and the vultures and the stench of defeat. He drives and he drives and he drives. He does not stop. He cannot stop. He has to reach the canal before the British recover. He has to reach the canal before the supplies run out. He has to reach the canal before the dream dies. His men follow. They are exhausted. They are hungry. They are thirsty. They have been fighting for weeks. They have been dying for months. They have been in Africa for a year. They want to stop. They want to rest. They want to go home. But they follow. Because Rommel is leading. Because Rommel never stops. Because Rommel is the fox, and the fox always finds a way. They follow him into Egypt. They follow him past the border. They follow him toward the canal. They follow him toward their doom. In a British headquarters near the canal, a new general is arriving. His name is Bernard Montgomery. He is small, he is neat, he is precise. He is nothing like the British generals who came before him. He does not drink. He does not smoke. He does not play golf. He does one thing only. He fights. He looks at the situation, and he sees disaster. The army is broken. The men are demoralized. The officers are incompetent. The supplies are scattered. The enemy is advancing. He does not panic. He does not despair. He does not make excuses. He just starts working. He issues orders. He reorganizes units. He restores discipline. He builds a line. The line is called El Alamein. It is the same line where Auchinleck stopped Rommel the year before. It is the same narrow gap between the sea and the Qattara Depression. It is the same place where armies go to die. Montgomery looks at the line, and he knows that this is where it will end. This is where Rommel will stop. This is where the fox will be trapped. He does not know how he knows. He just knows. It is a feeling, a certainty, a truth. He turns to his staff. He tells them, "We will not retreat from this place. We will fight here. We will die here. We will win here." The staff looks at him. They do not believe him. They have heard this before. They have heard it from generals who ran. They have heard it from generals who failed. They have heard it from generals who are dead. But something in his voice makes them pause. Something in his eyes makes them hope. Maybe this time will be different. Maybe this time they will win. Maybe this time the fox will finally be caught. Rommel reaches the line on June 30th. He looks at the British positions. He sees the minefields. He sees the artillery. He sees the tanks. He sees the men. He has seen this before. He saw it last year. He saw it when Auchinleck stopped him. He saw it when his army bled and died for nothing. He does not want to see it again. But he has no choice. He has to attack. He has to try. He has to break through. The canal is just beyond that line. The victory is just beyond that line. The dream is just beyond that line. He attacks on July 1st. The attack fails. He attacks on July 2nd. It fails. He attacks on July 3rd. It fails. The pattern repeats. The same pattern. The same failure. The same death. His men are dying. His tanks are burning. His supplies are running out. His hope is fading. He stands on a ridge and looks at the British line. He sees the smoke from their cook fires. He sees the movement of their vehicles. He sees the flags flying over their headquarters. He knows what is happening behind that line. He knows that Montgomery is building an army. He knows that reinforcements are arriving. He knows that new tanks are being unloaded at the docks. He knows that the British are getting stronger every day while he gets weaker. He knows that time is running out. He attacks again on July 10th. It fails. He attacks on July 15th. It fails. He attacks on July 21st. It fails. The men stop believing. They have followed him across a continent. They have died for him in 100 battles. They have given him everything they had. Now they have nothing left to give. Fritz sits in his radio truck. He is listening to the British. They are talking about Montgomery. They are calling him a savior. They are calling him a genius. They are calling him the man who will win the war. Fritz takes off his headphones. He takes out the photograph of Gretchen. He looks at her face. She is still beautiful. She is still smiling. She is still waiting. He wonders if she is still alive. He wonders if the bombs have reached her village. He wonders if she has found someone else. He wonders if she even remembers his name. He puts the photograph away. He puts the headphones back on. He listens to the British celebrating. They have reason to celebrate. They are winning. He can feel it. He can hear it. He can smell it in the air. The smell is different now. It is not the smell of victory. It is the smell of defeat. It is the smell of an army that has run out of hope. He looks out the window of his truck. He sees the men. They are sitting in the shade of their vehicles. They are not talking. They are not moving. They are just sitting, waiting, dying. He knows that they will not survive the next battle. He knows that he will not survive the next battle. He knows that this is the end. He does not feel fear. He does not feel sadness. He does not feel anything. He is too tired to feel. He just sits in his truck and listens to the British and waits for whatever comes next. The waiting never ends. Rommel stands in his command vehicle. He is looking at the map. He has been looking at it for hours. He has traced every road. He has noted every strong point. He has calculated every angle of attack. He knows that there is no way through. He knows that the line cannot be broken. He knows that the war is lost. He thinks about the promotion. He thinks about the field marshal's baton that is somewhere on its way from Berlin. He thinks about the ceremony that will never happen. He thinks about the victory that will never come. He thinks about his men. He thinks about the ones who died. He thinks about the ones who will die. He thinks about the ones who will spend the rest of their lives in prison camps, wondering what it was all for. He thinks about Malta. He thinks about the submarines and the bombers and the ships at the bottom of the sea. He thinks about the supplies that never arrived, the fuel that never came, the ammunition that never reached the guns. He thinks about the math that Heinrich did in Tripoli, the math that said the army was dying, the math that no one wanted to hear. The math was right. The math is always right. He closes his eyes. He does not pray. He stopped praying long ago. He just stands there in the darkness and waits. The door opens. An officer enters. He has a message. It is from Berlin. It is marked urgent. Rommel takes the message. He reads it. His face does not change. His hands do not shake. He just reads it and folds it and puts it in his pocket. The message says, "Reinforcements are coming. A new division is being formed. It will be sent to Africa as soon as possible. Until then, hold your position. Do not retreat. Do not surrender. Do not lose hope." Rommel looks at the officer. He does not say anything. There is nothing to say. The officer leaves. Rommel is alone again. He looks at the map. He looks at the line. He looks at the future. He knows that the reinforcements will never come. He knows that the new division does not exist. He knows that Berlin is lying. He knows that he is alone. He stands there for a long time. The night passes. The sun rises. The heat returns. The flies return. The war returns. He picks up his hat. He walks outside. He gets in his command vehicle. He drives toward the front. There is nothing else to do. There is nowhere else to go. There is only the war and the desert and the dead. He drives. The desert swallows him. The dust covers his tracks. The sun burns overhead. He is the fox. The fox does not stop. But the fox is trapped, and the trap is closing. The moon hangs over El Alamein like a lantern in a dead man's hand. It is October 23, 1942. The moon is full. The British have waited for this moon. They have planned for this moon. They have built an army for this moon. Now the moon is here, and the army is ready. The men on both sides look up at that moon, and they know what it means. It means no darkness to hide in. It means no shadows to cover an advance. It means that when the attack comes, everyone will see it coming. But the attack does not come in darkness. It comes in light. The British have 900 guns lined wheel to wheel behind their lines. They have stockpiled shells for months. They have waited for this moment. At 9:40 p.m., the guns open fire. The sound is not a sound. It is a physical force. It presses on the eardrums. It vibrates in the chest. It shakes the ground. The German lines disappear behind a wall of flame and smoke and flying earth. Men who have survived 1,000 bomb bursts are driven mad in minutes. Men who have never known fear learn it now. Men who thought they were safe discover that no one is safe. The barrage lasts for 5 hours. 5 hours of continuous fire. 5 hours of hell on earth. 5 hours of death raining from the sky. When it stops, the infantry comes. The man leading one of the assault companies is named Jack. He is a British major. He is 34 years old. Before the war, he was a school teacher in a village in Yorkshire. He taught boys how to read Latin and solve equations and become proper gentlemen. Now he teaches them how to die. His company moves forward through the smoke. The ground is torn. The mines are everywhere. The men step carefully, following paths cleared by engineers who will not survive to see the end of the night. They step over bodies. They step over pieces of bodies. They step over things that used to be men and are now just meat. Jack does not look down. He cannot look down. If he looks down, he will stop. If he stops, his men will stop. If his men stop, they will die. So he keeps his eyes forward. He keeps moving. He keeps leading. The German machine guns open fire. The men fall. Jack does not stop. He keeps moving. He keeps leading. He keeps dying. A bullet hits the man next to him. The man was 19 years old. He joined the army because he wanted to see the world. He has seen the world. He has seen it through a rifle sight. He has seen it through the smoke of battle. He has seen it through the eyes of a dying man. Jack does not stop. He cannot stop. He keeps moving. He keeps leading. He keeps killing. The German line is close now. He can see the helmets. He can see the faces. He can see the fear. He raises his pistol. He fires. A man falls. He fires again. Another man falls. He fires until the pistol is empty. Then he picks up a rifle from a dead man and keeps firing. The line breaks. The Germans run. Jack's men pursue. They are not soldiers anymore. They are hunters. They are killers. They are animals. Jack watches them go. He does not follow. He is too tired. He sits down on the lip of a crater. He lights a cigarette. He looks at the sky. The moon is still there. The moon is still watching. The moon does not care. He smokes his cigarette. He listens to the sounds of battle fading in the distance. He listens to the wounded screaming. He listens to the war. He does not think about the men he killed. He does not think about the men he lost. He does not think about anything. He just sits there and smokes and waits for whatever comes next. The cigarette burns down. He stubs it out on the ground. He stands up. He walks forward. He has to find his men. He has to keep leading. He has to keep killing. There is no end to it. There is only more. In the German lines, the situation is chaos. The telephone lines are cut. The radios are jammed. The officers are dead. The men are scattered. No one knows where the enemy is. No one knows where their own side is. No one knows anything except that the shells are falling and the men are dying and the night will never end. A young German soldier named Wilhelm is huddled in a trench. He is 20 years old. He joined the Afrika Korps because he wanted adventure. He wanted to see the pyramids. He wanted to ride in a tank. He wanted to be a hero. Now he is sitting in a hole in the ground, covered in mud and blood and his own waste, listening to the screams of men who have been hit by shells that tear off limbs and leave the rest to die slowly. He is not a hero. He is not an adventurer. He is just a boy who is about to die. The shelling stops. The silence is worse than the noise. In the silence, he can hear them coming. The British. Thousands of them, marching across no man's land. He can hear their footsteps. He can hear their equipment jingling. He can hear their officers shouting orders. He raises his rifle. He points it at the darkness. He cannot see anything. He fires anyway. He fires until the rifle is empty. He reloads. He fires again. He does not know if he hits anything. He does not care. He just keeps firing. A shape appears in front of him. It is a British soldier. He is young. He looks scared. He is raising his own rifle. Wilhelm fires first. The British soldier falls. Wilhelm watches him fall. He watches him hit the ground. He watches him stop moving. Wilhelm does not feel anything. He does not feel triumph. He does not feel regret. He does not feel anything at all. He just reloads and keeps firing. The night goes on. The killing goes on. The dying goes on. Rommel is not at El Alamein when the battle begins. He is in Germany. He is in a hospital. He has been sick for weeks. His blood pressure is dangerous. His liver is failing. His body is finally rebelling against the years of stress and exhaustion and the desert that never lets anyone rest. He is lying in a bed when the phone rings. He answers it. He listens. His face does not change. His voice does not change. He just says, "I will come." He hangs up. He looks at the ceiling. He thinks about his army. He thinks about his men. He thinks about the line at El Alamein. He knows that they cannot hold without him. He knows that they need him. He knows that he has to go back. His doctors tell him not to go. They tell him he will die. They tell him the flight will kill him. They tell him to stay. He does not listen. He never listens. He gets dressed. He walks out of the hospital. He gets on a plane. He flies back to Africa. He flies back to his men. He flies back to his death. The plane lands at dawn. Rommel steps out. The heat hits him like a wall. The dust fills his lungs. The flies find him immediately. He does not notice. He is looking east. He is looking at the smoke rising from the battlefield. He is looking at the end of everything. He gets in a car. He drives toward the front. The road is clogged with wounded. The road is clogged with refugees. The road is clogged with the debris of a broken army. He drives through it all. He drives past the dying. He drives past the dead. He drives toward the sound of the guns. He reaches his headquarters. His officers are waiting. They look at him. They see a man who is barely alive. They see a man who should be in a hospital. They see a man who has come back to die with them. He asks for the situation. They tell him. It is worse than he feared. The British have broken through in the north. The Italian divisions have collapsed. The panzers are running low on fuel. The reserves are gone. The army is dying. He listens. He nods. He does not say anything. There is nothing to say. He looks at the map. He looks at the line. He looks at the future. The future is dark. October 24th, October 25th, October 26th. The battle continues. The British attack. The Germans counterattack. The British attack again. The Germans counterattack again. The line bends. The line holds. The line bends again. The line breaks. Montgomery is methodical. He does not gamble. He does not take risks. He just keeps pushing. He keeps feeding men into the meat grinder. He keeps accepting losses that would have broken any other general. He keeps going. The Germans cannot keep going. They are running out of men. They are running out of tanks. They are running out of shells. They are running out of everything except courage. And courage is not enough. Rommel stands on a ridge and watches the battle. He watches his men die. He watches his tanks burn. He watches his army bleed to death. He does not move. He does not speak. He just watches. An officer approaches. He has a message. It is from the Italian High Command. They are requesting permission to withdraw. Their divisions have been destroyed. Their men are running. They cannot hold. Rommel looks at the message. He looks at the officer. He looks at the battle. He nods. He gives the order. Withdraw. The officer is shocked. Rommel has never ordered a withdrawal. Rommel has never retreated. Rommel has always attacked, always advanced, always won. But Rommel is not winning now. Rommel is losing. And losing means retreating. Retreating means surviving. Surviving means fighting another day. The officer leaves. Rommel watches him go. He turns back to the battle. He watches his men die. He does not cry. He cannot cry. He is too tired to cry. He just watches. The withdrawal begins on the night of November 2nd. It is a secret. It has to be a secret. If the British know, they will attack. They will cut off the retreat. They will destroy the army. The men move quietly. They abandon their equipment. They abandon their wounded. They abandon everything that cannot move. They walk west. They walk toward the horizon. They walk toward the darkness. Wilhelm is walking with them. He has survived. He does not know how. He does not know why. He just knows that he is alive and that he is walking and that he will keep walking until he cannot walk anymore. He looks back. He sees the fires of El Alamein burning behind him. He sees the smoke rising into the sky. He sees the graves of his friends. He sees the end of everything. He does not feel sadness. He does not feel regret. He does not feel anything. He just walks. The man next to him stumbles. He falls. He does not get up. Wilhelm does not stop. He cannot stop. If he stops, he will fall too. If he falls, he will die. So he keeps walking. He leaves the man behind. He leaves him in the sand. He leaves him to the flies and the vultures and the long silence of the desert. He keeps walking. Rommel is in his command vehicle. He is writing a letter. It is to his wife. He writes, "The battle is lost. The army is destroyed. I do not know if I will survive. I do not know if I want to survive. I only know that I have done everything I could. I have given everything I had. It was not enough." He folds the letter. He puts it in his pocket. He will mail it later. If there is a later. If there is a mailbox. If there is a world beyond this desert. He looks out the window. He sees his army. It is not an army anymore. It is a mob. It is a crowd. It is a herd of frightened animals running from a fire. They are not soldiers. They are not heroes. They are just men. Tired men. Hungry men. Broken men. He closes his eyes. He thinks about the beginning. He thinks about the day he landed in Tripoli. He thinks about the wooden tanks and the fake convoys and the bluff that started it all. He thinks about the victories. He thinks about the glory. He thinks about the dream. It was all for nothing. All of it. The victories, the glory, the dream, all for nothing. He opens his eyes. He looks at the mob. He looks at the desert. He looks at the future. The future is dark. November 4th. The British break through. The line is gone. The army is in full retreat. There is no stopping now. There is only running. Running and dying and running some more. Rommel receives a message from Hitler. It is marked urgent. It says, "Stand fast. Do not retreat. Victory or death. There is no other option." Rommel reads the message. He reads it twice. He reads it 3 times. He cannot believe what he is reading. Hitler wants him to die. Hitler wants his army to die. Hitler wants 30,000 men to throw themselves into the fire for nothing. He crumples the message. He throws it on the floor. He looks at his officers. They are waiting. They are watching. They are hoping. He gives the order. Keep retreating. Ignore the message. Save the men. The officers are shocked. They have never heard Rommel disobey a direct order. They have never seen him defy Hitler. They do not know what to do. Rommel tells them again, "Keep retreating. I will take the responsibility. I will take the blame. Just save the men." The officers leave. They pass the order. The retreat continues. Rommel sits alone in his vehicle. He knows what he has done. He has disobeyed his Führer. He has committed treason. He has signed his own death warrant. He does not care. He cares about one thing only: his men, his boys, his soldiers. They have followed him across a continent. They have died for him in 100 battles. They have given him everything. Now he will give them something. He will give them a chance to live, a chance to fight another day, a chance to go home. It is not much. It is not enough. But it is something. It is all he has. He closes his eyes. He tries to sleep. He cannot. The guns are still firing somewhere in the distance. The men are still dying. The war is still going. He lies there in the darkness and waits for whatever comes next. The waiting never ends. Fritz is in his radio truck. He is listening to the British. They are celebrating. They are calling El Alamein the turning point. They are calling it the beginning of the end. They are calling it victory. He takes off his headphones. He takes out the photograph of Gretchen. He looks at her face. It is smudged now, worn, faded. He has looked at it so many times that the image is starting to disappear. He wonders if she is still alive. He wonders if she is still waiting. He wonders if she still remembers his name. He puts the photograph away. He puts the headphones back on. He listens to the British celebrating. They have reason to celebrate. They have won. He has lost. His army has lost. His country has lost. Everything is lost. He does not feel despair. He does not feel anger. He does not feel anything. He is too tired to feel. He looks out the window. He sees the retreat. He sees the men walking west. He sees the trucks burning. He sees the dead lying where they fell. He knows that he will be dead soon. He knows that the desert will claim him like it has claimed so many others. He knows that his bones will bleach in the sun and no one will remember his name. He does not care. He stopped caring a long time ago. He just sits in his truck and listens to the radio and waits for whatever comes next. The waiting never ends. The retreat continues for days, for weeks, for what feels like forever. The men walk and walk and walk. They walk past the places they fought for. They walk past the graves of their friends. They walk past the wreckage of their dreams. The British pursue. They are not fast enough. They are not aggressive enough. They let the Germans escape. They let them live to fight another day. Montgomery is criticized for this. He is called cautious. He is called slow. He is called a coward. He does not care. He knows what he is doing. He is building an army. He is gathering strength. He is waiting for the right moment. The right moment will come. It always comes. But for now, the Germans retreat. They retreat across the desert. They retreat across the border. They retreat into Libya. They retreat toward Tunisia. They retreat toward the end. Rommel leads them. He does not look back. He does not think about what he has lost. He thinks about what he has saved. He has saved his men. He has saved 30,000 lives. He has saved them from the madness of a Führer who wanted them to die. It is not a victory. It is not even a consolation. But it is something. It is the only thing he has left. He drives at the head of the column. He looks at the road ahead. He looks at the desert ahead. He looks at the future ahead. The future is dark, but it is there. It is waiting. It is always waiting. He drives toward it. He drives toward the darkness. He drives toward the end. The fox is running now. The fox is running for his life. And the desert watches. The desert always watches. The desert waits for them all. The road from El Alamein to the Tunisian border is 1,200 miles long. It is paved with the wreckage of an army. Burned-out trucks lie in the ditches like the skeletons of prehistoric beasts. Abandoned tanks sit where they ran out of fuel, their hatches open, their guns pointing at nothing. Dead men lie where they fell, covered now by a thin layer of sand that grows thicker with each passing day. The men who walk this road do not look at the dead. They cannot look at the dead. If they look at the dead, they will see themselves. They will see their future. They will see the end that awaits them all. They walk. That is all they do. They walk, and they walk, and they walk. They walk until their boots fall apart. They walk until their feet bleed. They walk until they cannot walk anymore. Then they fall. Then they die. Then they join the wreckage. Wilhelm is still walking. He does not know how many days have passed. He does not know how many miles he has covered. He does not know anything except the road ahead, and the pain in his feet, and the hunger in his belly, and the thirst that never goes away. He has lost his rifle. He has lost his helmet. He has lost his friends. He has lost everything except his life, and that life is slipping away with every step. The man next to him collapses. Wilhelm does not stop. He cannot stop. If he stops, he will collapse too. He keeps walking. He leaves the man behind. He leaves him to the flies and the vultures and the long silence of the desert. He keeps walking. The British are not pursuing aggressively. Montgomery is cautious. He is methodical. He is building his supply lines before he moves. He is not going to make the same mistake Rommel made. He is not going to outrun his logistics. But the British Air Force is everywhere. The planes come at dawn. They come at noon. They come at dusk. They come whenever they want, because there is nothing left to stop them. The Luftwaffe is gone. The anti-aircraft guns are gone. The ammunition is gone. There is nothing left except the men on the road and the planes in the sky. The planes dive. The bombs fall. The men scatter. The men die. The planes climb. The planes return. The men scatter again. The men die again. Wilhelm throws himself into a ditch as the bombs fall. He presses his face into the sand. He hears the explosions. He hears the screams. He feels the ground shake. He waits for the end. The end does not come. The planes leave. The screaming stops. Wilhelm gets up. He looks around. The men who were walking with him are gone. Some are dead. Some are wounded. Some have run into the desert, never to be seen again. He does not look for them. He cannot look for them. He has to keep walking. He has to reach the next stop. The next stop is a place called Mersa Brega. It is 200 miles away. It might as well be on the moon. He starts walking again. He walks alone. He walks through the wreckage. He walks past the dead. He walks toward the horizon. The horizon never gets closer. Rommel is in his command vehicle. He is looking at the map. The map shows the retreat. It shows the positions of his units. It shows the roads and the passes and the places where he might make a stand. But there is nowhere to make a stand. There is no line to hold. There is no army to hold it. There are only fragments, pieces, ghosts of the force that once swept across this desert. He thinks about the message from Hitler, the message that told him to stand fast, the message that told him to die. He disobeyed that message. He saved his men. But he knows what that means. He knows that Hitler will not forgive him. He knows that his career is over. He knows that his life may be over. He does not care. He cares about one thing only: getting his men to safety, getting them to Tunisia, getting them to somewhere they can rest and refit and fight again. But there is nowhere to rest. There is nothing to refit with. There is no one to fight with. The army is destroyed. The war is lost. The only question is, how many will survive? He looks out the window. He sees his men walking. He sees them staggering. He sees them falling. He sees them dying. He closes his eyes. He cannot watch anymore. He has watched enough. The retreat reaches Mersa Brega. It is not a place to make a stand. The defenses are weak. The supplies are low. The men are exhausted. But Rommel has no choice. He has to stop somewhere. He has to give his men a chance to rest. He orders them to dig in. They dig. They dig trenches in the hard ground. They dig with their hands because they have lost their entrenching tools. They dig until their fingers bleed. They dig until they cannot dig anymore. Then they wait. They wait for the British. They wait for the attack. They wait for the end. The British do not come. Montgomery is still building his supply lines. He is still being cautious. He is still waiting. Rommel uses the time. He sends officers to the rear. He sends them to find supplies. He sends them to find reinforcements. He sends them to find anything that might help. They come back empty-handed. There is nothing in the rear. There is nothing anywhere. The army is alone. The army is abandoned. The army is dead. It just does not know it yet. Fritz is still in his radio truck. The truck is running on fumes. The engine coughs and sputters. It will not last much longer. Neither will Fritz. He listens to the British. They are talking about the pursuit. They are talking about the victory. They are talking about the end of the war in Africa. They are confident. They are happy. They are going home. He takes off his headphones. He takes out the photograph of Gretchen. He looks at her face. It is almost gone now. The image has faded to nothing. He can barely see her smile. He can barely see her eyes. He can barely remember her at all. He puts the photograph away. He puts the headphones back on. He listens to the British. They are talking about something new. They are talking about a place called Tunisia. They are talking about a landing. They are talking about Americans. Fritz does not understand. Americans? What are Americans doing here? America is not in the war. America is neutral. America is far away. But America is not neutral anymore. America is coming. America is landing in Morocco and Algeria. America is opening a new front. America is trapping the Afrika Korps between two armies. Fritz writes it down. He will report it. He will tell the officers. They will tell Rommel. Rommel will look at the map and see the trap closing. Fritz does not know what to feel. Is this hope? Is this despair? Is this the end? He does not know. He is too tired to know. He just sits in his truck and listens to the radio and waits. The waiting never ends. The news reaches Rommel on November 8th. American troops have landed in North Africa. They have come ashore at Casablanca and Oran and Algiers. They have met little resistance. They are advancing east. They are coming to trap him. He looks at the map. He sees the trap. The British are coming from the east. The Americans are coming from the west. He is in the middle. He has nowhere to go. He has nowhere to hide. He has nothing left to fight with. He thinks about Hitler. He thinks about the messages from Berlin. The messages that told him to hold. The messages that told him to fight. The messages that told him to die. He thinks about his men. His exhausted, starving, dying men. They have followed him across a continent. They have given him everything. Now he has to give them something. He has to give them a chance. He gives the order. Keep retreating. Keep moving west. Get to Tunisia. Get to the mountains. Get to somewhere we can make a stand. The retreat continues. The men keep walking, the trucks keep burning, the dead keep piling up. The road goes on forever. The men are not men anymore. They are shadows. They are ghosts. They are things that used to be human and are now something else. Their eyes are hollow. Their faces are gaunt. Their bodies are covered in sores and wounds and the filth of weeks without washing. They walk. That is all they do. They walk and they walk and they walk. They walk past the wreckage of their army. They walk past the graves of their friends. They walk past the places where they once were victorious. Wilhelm is still walking. He does not know why he keeps walking. He does not know what he is walking toward. He only knows that if he stops, he will die. So he keeps walking. He thinks about home. He thinks about his mother. He thinks about the village where he grew up. He thinks about the church and the school and the fields where he played as a child. He thinks about all the things he will never see again. He knows he will never see them. He knows he will die in this desert. He knows that his bones will bleach in the sun, and no one will remember his name. He does not cry. He cannot cry. He has no tears left. The desert has taken everything, including his tears. He keeps walking. The retreat reaches the border of Tunisia. The men cross into a new country. It looks the same as the old country. Same sand. Same rocks. Same sky. Same death. But something is different. There are mountains in the distance. There are hills and valleys and places to hide. There are French forts and Italian garrisons and the remnants of other armies. Rommel looks at the mountains and sees hope. Not hope of victory. That is gone. But hope of survival. Hope of holding out. Hope of making the enemy pay for every mile. He orders his men to dig in. They dig. They dig trenches in the rocky soil. They dig gun positions. They dig command posts. They dig graves for the ones who will not make it. The British are coming. The Americans are coming. The trap is closing. But the fox is not dead yet. December 1942, January 1943. The weeks pass. The men rest. They eat. They sleep. They begin to look like men again. Reinforcements arrive. Not many, not enough, but some. Fresh troops from Germany. New tanks. Others. But he cannot say this. He cannot others. But he cannot say this. He cannot tell them the truth. He has to give them hope. He has to make them believe. So he smiles. He shakes their hands. He welcomes them to Africa. He tells them they will win. They believe him. They are young, they are fresh, they have not seen what he has seen. They have not learned what he has learned. They will learn. The desert is a good teacher. The desert teaches everyone the same lesson. The lesson is death. The Americans are coming. They are inexperienced. They are untested. They are soft. They have not known hunger. They have not known thirst. They have not known fear. Rommel looks at the reports and sees an opportunity. The Americans are advancing carelessly. They are not digging in. They are not patrolling. They are not ready. He plans an attack. He will hit them at a place called Kasserine Pass. He will hit them hard. He will hit them fast. He will teach them what war really means. The attack comes on February 19th. It is everything Rommel ever was. Fast. Fierce. Furious. The Americans break. They run. They abandon their equipment. They abandon their dead. They abandon their pride. For 3 days, Rommel chases them. For 3 days, he is the fox again. For 3 days, he remembers what it felt like to win. Then the supplies run out. The fuel runs out. The ammunition runs out. The attack stalls. The Americans regroup. The Americans counterattack. He looks at the bodies of the men who... He looks at the bodies of the men who died. It was a victory. A small victory. A temporary victory. A victory that changes nothing. He thinks about the beginning. He thinks about the days when he swept across the desert like a storm. He thinks about the days when victory meant something. Those days are gone. They will never come back. Fritz is still in his radio truck. The truck is running on miracles now. It should have died long ago. But it keeps going. Like Fritz. Like the army. Like the war. He listens to the Americans. They are talking about Kasserine. They are talking about their dead. They are talking about revenge. They are learning. They are getting better. He takes off his headphones. He takes out the photograph of Gretchen. There is nothing left of it now. The image is completely gone. Just a blank piece of paper where her face used to be. He looks at the blank paper. He tries to remember her face. He cannot. He has forgotten what she looks like. He has forgotten her smile. He has forgotten her eyes. He has forgotten everything except her name. He puts the blank paper away. He puts the headphones back on. He listens to the Americans. They are talking about the end. They are talking about victory. They are talking about going home. Fritz does not think about going home. He knows he will never go home. He knows he will die here. He knows that his bones will bleach in this desert. He does not care. He stopped caring a long time ago. He just sits in his truck and listens to the radio and waits. The waiting never ends. The mountains of Tunisia are the last stand. Behind them, the sea. Behind the sea, nothing. There is nowhere left to run. There is nowhere left to hide. There is only the fight and the death and the end. Rommel looks at the mountains. He looks at his army. He looks at the enemy closing in from both sides. He knows that this is the end. He knows that he will not leave this place. He knows that his bones will join the others in the sand. He does not feel fear. He does not feel despair. He feels nothing except a strange kind of peace. The peace that comes when there are no more decisions to make, no more gambles to take, no more hopes to crush. He thinks about his wife. He thinks about his son. He thinks about the home he will never see again. He writes a letter. He writes, "I have done everything I could. I have given everything I had. It was not enough. Forgive me." He folds the letter. He puts it in his pocket. He will mail it later, if there is a later, if there is a mailbox. if there is a world beyond this war. He walks outside. He looks at the sky. The sky is blue. The sky is empty. The sky does not care. He walks to his command vehicle. He gets in. He drives toward the front. There is work to do. There is always work to do. There is always dying to do. He drives. The mountains rise around him. The enemy waits ahead. The end waits for them all. He drives toward it. He drives toward the darkness. He drives toward the final chapter. The road ends here. The mountains of Tunisia are not like the desert. They are green in places. They are cool in the mornings. They have water running in streams and trees growing on slopes and birds singing in the branches. The men who have spent 2 years in the desert look at these mountains, and they do not know what to feel. This is not the world they learned to survive in. This is something else. This is a place that reminds them of home. It is March 1943. The Afrika Korps is trapped. The British are to the east. The Americans are to the west. The French are to the south. The sea is to the north. There is nowhere left to go. There is only the fighting and the dying and the waiting for the end. The men dig in. They dig trenches in the rocky soil. They dig gun positions on the slopes. They dig command posts in the caves. They dig graves for the ones who will not survive. That is most of them. Wilhelm is still alive. He does not know how. He does not know why. He has survived the retreat. He has survived the bombing. He has survived the hunger and the thirst and the cold nights when the temperature dropped below freezing and men died of exposure in a land that once burned them alive. He sits in a trench on a mountainside. He looks out at the valley below. The valley is full of Americans. He can see their tents. He can see their trucks. He can see their tanks. He can see their flags. They are everywhere. They are endless. They are coming. He thinks about the beginning. He thinks about the day he arrived in Africa. He was young then. He was full of hope. He believed in victory. He believed in Rommel. He believed in Germany. He does not believe in anything now. He believes only in survival. And even that belief is fading. He looks at the rifle in his hands. It is old. It is worn. It has killed many men. It will kill more before this is over. He wonders if it will kill him. He wonders if he will feel it when the bullet hits. He wonders if anyone will remember his name. He does not know. He will never know. Rommel is not in the mountains. He is in Germany. He was recalled in early March. Hitler needs him. Hitler has a new plan. Hitler wants him to command something else, something important, something that will save the Reich. Rommel does not believe in Hitler anymore. He has not believed for a long time, but he goes. He goes because he is a soldier. He goes because he has no choice. He goes because the alternative is death. He leaves his men behind. He leaves them in the mountains. He leaves them to die. He stands on the airfield before he boards the plane. He looks south, toward the mountains, toward his army, toward the men who followed him across a continent. He does not speak. He does not move. He just stands there, looking. An officer approaches. He has a message. It is from the front. It says, "The men wish you well. They will fight to the end. They will not forget you." Rommel reads the message. He folds it carefully. He puts it in his pocket. He nods. He gets on the plane. The plane takes off. Rommel looks out the window. He watches Africa disappear beneath the clouds. He knows he will never see it again. He knows he will never see his men again. He knows that he has abandoned them. He does not cry. He cannot cry. He is too tired to cry. He just watches the clouds and thinks about the dead. The plane flies north. It flies toward Germany. It flies toward the end. In the mountains, the men wait. They wait for the attack. They wait for the end. They wait for something to happen. The Americans are not waiting. They are learning. They have learned from Kasserine. They have learned from their mistakes. They are not careless anymore. They are methodical. They are professional. They are deadly. The attacks come on March 20th. The Americans advance. The Germans fire. The Americans fall back. The Americans advance again. The Germans fire again. The Americans fall back again. It goes on for days, for weeks, for what feels like forever. The Americans keep coming. The Germans keep dying. The mountains keep taking. Wilhelm fires his rifle until it is empty. He reloads. He fires again. He does not aim. He does not think. He just fires. He fires at the shapes moving in the valley. He fires at the smoke and the dust and the flashes of artillery. He fires at the war. A man next to him is hit. He falls into the trench. He is still alive. His legs are gone. His blood is pumping out onto the ground. He looks at Wilhelm. He reaches out his hand. He says something. Wilhelm cannot hear it. The guns are too loud. Wilhelm looks at the man. He looks at the hand reaching toward him. He looks at the eyes that are already starting to glaze over. He does not take the hand. He cannot take the hand. If he takes the hand, he will stop. If he stops, he will die. So he turns away. He picks up his rifle. He keeps firing. The man dies alone. His hand falls to the ground. His eyes go blank. His blood soaks into the soil. Wilhelm keeps firing. Fritz is still in his radio truck. The truck is parked in a cave. It is safe from the bombs here. It is safe from the shells. It is safe from everything except the truth. The truth is on the radio. The British are talking about victory. The Americans are talking about victory. Everyone is talking about victory except the Germans. The Germans are talking about nothing. They have nothing left to say. Fritz listens to the enemy. He listens to their plans. He listens to their movements. He listens to their celebrations. He knows everything. He knows that the end is coming. He knows that it will come soon. He takes out the photograph. It is just paper now. Blank paper. The image of Gretchen is completely gone. He has looked at it so many times that he has worn it away. He looks at the blank paper. He tries to remember her face. He cannot. He has forgotten. 2 years in the desert have erased her. 2 years of killing and dying and surviving have taken her from him. He puts the blank paper away. He puts the headphones back on. He listens to the enemy. They are talking about something new. They are talking about the final assault. They are talking about Operation Vulcan. They are talking about the end. Fritz writes it down. He will report it. He will tell the officers. They will tell the men. The men will dig deeper. The men will fight harder. The men will die better. It does not matter. Nothing matters anymore. He sits in his truck and listens to the radio and waits. The waiting never ends. April 1943. The ring tightens. The Americans take the hills. The British take the passes. The French take the roads. The Germans are pushed back, mile by mile, hill by hill, death by death. The men are exhausted. They have not slept in days. They have not eaten in days. They have not hoped in days. They fight because there is nothing else to do. They fight because the alternative is surrender. They fight because they have always fought. Wilhelm is still fighting. He does not know why. He does not think about why. He just fights. He fires his rifle. He throws his grenades. He stabs with his bayonet. He kills. He kills. He kills. The Americans are close now. He can see their faces. They are young. They are scared. They are just like him. They are boys who wanted to be heroes and ended up being corpses. He shoots one. The boy falls. He shoots another. That one falls too. He shoots until his rifle is empty. He reloads. He shoots some more. A shell lands nearby. The blast throws him against the wall of the trench. His ears ring. His head spins. His vision blurs. He tries to get up. He cannot. His legs will not work. He looks down. He sees blood. He sees bone. He sees the mess that used to be his legs. He lies in the bottom of the trench. He looks at the sky. The sky is blue. The sky is empty. The sky does not care. He thinks about his mother. He thinks about his village. He thinks about the girl he never kissed. He thinks about all the things he will never do. He does not cry. He cannot cry. He has no tears left. He just lies there and looks at the sky and waits for the end. The end comes. It comes quietly. It comes gently. It comes like sleep. He closes his eyes. He does not open them again. May 6th, the final assault begins. The Americans and the British attack from all sides. The Germans have nowhere to run. They have nowhere to hide. They have nothing left to fight with. The resistance is fierce. It is desperate. It is useless. The men fight to the last bullet. Then they fight with bayonets. Then they fight with their hands. Then they stop fighting. The surrender begins on May 9th. It starts with small units. A company here. A battalion there. They lay down their weapons. They raise their hands. They walk toward the prisoner cages. By May 12th, it is over. 250,000 German and Italian soldiers lay down their arms. It is the largest surrender in history. It is bigger than Stalingrad. It is bigger than anything that has come before. The men march into captivity. They march past the wreckage of their army. They march past the burned-out tanks and the abandoned trucks and the graves of their friends. They march past everything they fought for and everything they lost. They do not look back. There is nothing to look back at. There is only the desert and the dead and the long silence of defeat. Fritz is in his radio truck. He is listening to the final transmissions. The British are announcing the victory. The Americans are celebrating. The Germans are silent. He takes off his headphones. He looks at the blank paper that was once a photograph of Gretchen. He holds it in his hands. He looks at it for a long time. He does not know what to feel. He does not feel sadness. He does not feel anger. He does not feel relief. He feels nothing. He has been feeling nothing for so long that nothing is all he knows. He gets up. He walks out of the cave. The sun is bright. The air is fresh. The mountains are beautiful. He has not noticed how beautiful they are until now. He walks down the slope. He walks toward the American lines. He walks with his hands empty. He has nothing to carry. He has nothing to hide. He has nothing left at all. The Americans see him coming. They raise their rifles. They shout at him to stop. He stops. He raises his hands. He waits. They come forward. They search him. They find nothing. They take him away. They put him with the others. Thousands of others. All of them waiting. All of them silent. All of them defeated. Fritz sits on the ground. He looks at the mountains. He looks at the sky. He looks at the men around him. He thinks about the beginning. He thinks about the day he arrived in Africa. He was young then. He was full of hope. He believed in victory. He believed in Rommel. He believed in Germany. He does not believe in anything now. He believes only in this moment. This moment of silence, this moment of surrender, this moment of nothing. He closes his eyes. He does not sleep. He just sits there and waits. The waiting never ends. But now at least the war is over. The news reaches Rommel in Germany. He is in his house. He is recovering from his illnesses. He is waiting for his next assignment. He reads the report. 250,000 men. Surrendered. The entire army. Gone. He puts down the report. He looks out the window. He sees the garden. He sees the trees. He sees the peaceful German countryside. It is so different from Africa. It is so green, so quiet, so safe. He thinks about his men. He thinks about the ones who died. He thinks about the ones who surrendered. He thinks about the ones who will spend years in prison camps, wondering what it was all for. He thinks about the beginning. He thinks about the day he landed in Tripoli. He thinks about the wooden tanks and the fake convoys and the bluff that started it all. He thinks about the victories. He thinks about the glory. He thinks about the dream. It was all for nothing. All of it. The victories. The glory. The dream. All for nothing. He does not cry. He cannot cry. He is too tired to cry. He just sits there and looks out the window and thinks about the dead. The dead are everywhere. They are in the desert. They are in the mountains. They are in his dreams. They will always be there. They will never leave. He closes his eyes. He tries to sleep. He cannot. The dead will not let him. The prisoners are marched to the coast. They are loaded onto ships. They are taken to camps in America and Britain and Canada. They will spend years there. Some will never come home. They look back at Africa as the ships sail away. They see the mountains growing smaller. They see the coast disappearing. They see the continent that took everything from them fading into the haze. They do not speak. They have nothing to say. They just watch. One of them is Fritz. He stands at the rail of the ship. He looks at Africa. He looks at the place where he lost everything. He looks at the place where he became nothing. He reaches into his pocket. He takes out the blank paper that was once a photograph of Gretchen. He holds it in his hand. He looks at it for the last time. Then he lets it go. The wind takes it. It flutters in the air. It falls toward the water. It hits the surface. It disappears. Gretchen is gone. Africa is gone. The war is gone. Everything is gone. Fritz turns away from the rail. He walks back to the hold. He sits down with the others. He waits. The ship sails on. The sea is blue. The sky is empty. The future is unknown. He does not think about the future. He thinks about nothing. Nothing is all he has left. In Berlin, the High Commission meets. They discuss the loss of Africa. They blame Rommel. They blame the Italians. They blame the weather. They blame everyone except themselves. They do not understand why they lost. They do not understand that they lost because of Malta, because of the submarines, because of the bombers, because of the ships at the bottom of the sea, because of the fuel that never arrived and the ammunition that never came and the food that never reached the men who were starving. They do not understand that they lost because they treated Africa as a sideshow, because they sent their best men to Russia and their leftovers to Rommel, because they thought the desert was easy and the war would be short. They do not understand. They will never understand. They move on to the next topic. The next topic is Russia. Russia is where the war will be won. Russia is where the glory is. Russia is where the future lies. They do not know that Russia will destroy them. They do not know that Stalingrad was just the beginning. They do not know that Berlin will burn. They do not know anything. They never did. In a village in England, a woman named Sarah reads a letter. It is from the War Office. It tells her that her son, Jack, was killed in action in North Africa. It tells her that he died bravely. It tells her that he will be remembered. She folds the letter. She puts it on the table. She looks out the window. She sees the garden. She sees the roses. She sees the world that goes on without her son. She does not cry. She cried when he left. She cried when he wrote. She has no tears left. She just sits there and looks out the window and thinks about the boy who will never come home. The boy who taught Latin. The boy who loved poetry. The boy who wanted to be a headmaster someday. He is dead. He died in a place she has never seen. He died for reasons she does not understand. He died alone, in the sand, with strangers around him. She closes her eyes. She prays. She does not know if God is listening. She does not know if God cares. She prays anyway. It is all she has left. In a prison camp in Canada, Fritz sits on his bunk. He has been here for 6 months. He will be here for 3 more years. He does not think about the future. He thinks about nothing. The other prisoners talk about the war. They talk about what went wrong. They talk about who to blame. They talk about the next war, the one that will come, the one that will avenge them. Fritz does not talk. He has nothing to say. He has seen too much. He has done too much. He has lost too much. He lies on his bunk. He looks at the ceiling. He thinks about Africa. He thinks about the desert. He thinks about the mountains. He thinks about the dead. They are all dead now. His friends, his enemies, the men he killed, the men who killed beside him, all dead. He is alive. He does not know why. He does not know what to do with it. He just lies there and waits. The waiting never ends. But now, at least, it is quiet. In a garden in Germany, a man walks among the flowers. He is old. He is tired. He is broken. He is Erwin Rommel. He has been forced to kill himself. Hitler gave him a choice. Take poison and die with honor, or stand trial and die with shame. He chose the poison. He chose the honor. He chose the end. He walks through the garden one last time. He touches the flowers. He feels the sun. He hears the birds. He says goodbye to everything. He thinks about Africa. He thinks about the desert. He thinks about his men. He thinks about the ones who died, and the ones who survived, and the ones who will never forgive him. He thinks about the beginning. He thinks about the day he landed in Tripoli. He thinks about the wooden tanks, and the fake convoys, and the bluff that started it all. He thinks about the victories. He thinks about the glory. He thinks about the dream. It was all for nothing. All of it. The victories. The glory. The dream. All for nothing. He gets in the car. His driver takes him out of town. They stop on a country road. Rommel gets out. He walks into the woods. He is alone. He takes the poison. He waits. The poison works. He falls. He dies. He dies in a forest in Germany. Far from the desert. Far from his men. Far from everything that mattered. The fox is dead. The desert does not care. The desert never cared. It has seen armies come and go. It has seen empires rise and fall. It has seen men fight and die and be forgotten. The desert waits. It waits for the next army. It waits for the next war. It waits for the next fools who think they can conquer it. They will come. They always come. They will fight. They will die. They will be forgotten. The sand will cover their bones. The wind will erase their tracks. The sun will burn their memory away. and the desert will wait. Patient, indifferent, eternal. The desert always wins.